Alright, we are live here for another League of Rug Delver. Should be a fun time. Yep, Twitch just caught on. We are in fact live. That's fantastic. We are running the same 75. I might change this up a little bit after this league for the next week. I'm not sure. I mean, I like the deck. I like it quite a bit. All of this stuff should be good for the league, so I'm just gonna... sorry for the stream, so I'm just gonna head into the chat on my phone. I like our 75. I think it's pretty good. I won't say it's ideal, but I like it a lot. Curious Obsession, I'm still a little iffy on. It's been really good. It's also been really bad. I love it in the combo matchups. Sometimes even against aggro, if they have creatures that we just need a little bit more stats to go up against Gurmag Anglers, hollow ones. I think Curious Obsession is great. It gets our creatures right where we want them to be as far as power and toughness goes, and then we get to just rule the battlefield. Against spot removal decks, I'm being reminded of the downside Curiosity has, where sometimes it's just not very good. I think I don't really like Curious Obsession for the control, the mid-range matchups. I was hoping it would be good there. You can time it so that it's at least a 1-for-1 if you play it when they're tapped out, but it does have serious downsides. If they strip your hand of threats, suddenly Curious Obsession is debatably the worst card you could have, maybe even worse than a counterspell, so I'm not liking it. It's bad in top deck mode. It's just bad in too many cases for me to want it in attrition matchups, so I'm not down for that. Vendilion Click I've played a bit more with in a couple of friendly leagues that I've been using to just practice. Instead of playing in the tournament practice open rooms, I figured I may as well just play in the friendly league because the competition's at least a little bit better in the tournament practice room. There are a lot of just weird nonsense decks. So friendly league's a bit better, and we get some extra ticks that way, so I am down for that. I've liked Click. I could see changing up the 75, not in that I think it's inherently bad, but the metagame is obviously shifting with Bloodbraid Elf and Jace being unbanned, and we're starting to see more trends. Bogles is on the rise, and I imagine my 75 is very, very bad against Bogles. Either they lose to themselves, or it's just a buy for them. There's not much we're doing. If they're on the play, we're not countering much at all. Even if they're on the draw, chances are we're not going to be able to counter their hexproof creature, so we're trying to keep them off enchantments and race, and that's really difficult. If I went on a Shoal build, that matchup's much better, and the linear matchups do get a lot better with Shoal, but the mid-range and control matchups get significantly worse while you have Shoal in your deck, so I would want a more mid-rangey sideboard. If I go that route, I might. There's been talk on the MTG Salvation Primer for the deck. We've been discussing something like that for a few days now. I might try it out. I have tried it out again in the Chart and Shoal build. That was definitely fun. Some of that sideboard's cut off. Shoal's over there, 3 copies. Huntmaster, EE, Revelry cut off on that side. I do like this deck too. I don't like it as much. I definitely like the versatility you get from having an extra burn spell, traverse in the main deck. I really like that threat density that this build gives you, and you definitely lose out on some of that when you're running Shoal. Your mid-range matchups do get worse, but maybe it's time to hammer the linear decks again? I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to hop into a league, not the friendly one. We want to pull up the competitive one. I did join both. Let's go. Competitive League, Match 1. Rug Delver, we are on the draw. That hand is definitely not great. But we do have a Mishra's Bauble, and I don't hate that. This is looking really bad against aggro. Against discard decks, they probably take our Delver of Secrets, and it's still not that great. Is this worth keeping? We have 3 lands and a Bauble, which means we do have a pretty good chance of flooding. On the other hand, we have a decent chance of being able to draw good stuff and cast whatever we draw. I think it's bad enough that it's worth taking a mulligan. This hand also not very good, but we get to scry and draw. Thought Scour looks great here if they're not on discard. We also kind of need them to not be on Remand. Mishra's Bauble suggests to me that we're up against Traverse Shadow. That's probably the most common Mishra's Bauble deck. Which means Thoughtseize, goodbye Mandrills, and okay, Inquisition, Mandrills gets to stay. That's great. They took Mana Leak. Street Wraith cycles. Okay. So there's a chance. Oh, that was their bauble. For whatever reason, I thought we had a bauble and we were gonna draw. Would have been nice. I like drawing 2 cards in the same turn, especially against discard decks. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Tarmogoyf, more discard. This looks like discard. Don't be Thoughtseize. Just don't have Thoughtseize. It's Inquisition. In response, I think we want to Scour here. It's going to fill up the graveyard quite nicely. Our hand might just get completely shredded. Then again, you mulligan against a discard deck with Shadows and friends. Ooh, Stubborn Denial. I will not pay for that. That's probably fine. We still get to cast Mandrills. We can even fetch and Visions first, so that's probably the play. They have Sorcery, Instant, Creature, Land, Artifact, so Goyfs are 5/6s even without our graveyard. I think we're going to grab a basic Forest. Cast this Visions. Lightning Bolt actually could be really good. It could also be really bad. I think I'm going to bottom both of these. If they get really aggressive with their life total, that card is just fantastic. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, given that if they have a Tarmogoyf, we're going to get slowed right down. Traverse for Shadow, Traverse for Goyf, Traverse for Street Wraith. Those are most of the creatures they run. If they have Stubborn Denial in the main deck, I don't think they're running Bloodbraid in the main deck, but they might. They got a Shadow. Well, that makes me wish I put those bolts on top. Basic Mountain, that's something I'm glad that I don't have. I kind of want to play out a land untapped so that this Mana Leak is better. If we swing here, how bad of a spot are we in? That makes this a 3-turn clock for them. If they have another Shadow, we're super dead. If they have another Shadow and we don't swing, we're probably still super dead. I don't mind shuffling those bolts back in now that we see they're going for the Shadows, and I kind of want to pass here. If we knock them down to 7, they knock us down to 12 at least. They don't know about this Mana Leak, so that's nice. They're at 7, we're at 12, we hit them again down to 3. Shadow is a 10-10, we might survive. Very dependent on the top of both of our decks. Think I'm going to pass here since we can maybe Mana Leak a Tarmogoyf. If it's a land plus a Shadow, man, are we in for some trouble. But if it's not, then there's a chance. Oh, that's a really good land. That's a really good land. It doesn't look like a Shadow. Liliana's getting countered really fast. Not much doubt that I want to counter that. Shadow can attack pretty freely here. Yeah, we're not dealing with that. I don't want to lose my only creature to a 5/5 Shadow. On the other hand, we're both in top deck mode. Anything could happen here. They're going to shock. Alright, do we fetch? Means that a fetch land for them turns this into a 2-turn clock, but we're swinging anyways. So if we knock them down to 4, this becomes a 9/9. If we fetch, we're at 12. Bolt kills us. They probably don't have that many bolts. Bloodbraid Elf kills us. I'm going to assume they don't have Bloodbraid. I'm going to shuffle the bolts back in, I think. I'd rather have another red source, probably. Make it a green source. We don't have Delirium on. Ooh, that is bad. That is rancid. We're going to swing here because we have nothing to do but swing. We're also going to hope and dream and all of that good stuff. I think we're just going to play this tapped. Go to the opponent. If they have Temur Battle Rage, we're dead, but we were dead to that a while ago. Street Wraith. Got a fetch. If they have a fetch, we're dead. If not, they're just going to turn off our fetches. Kolagon's command kills us. They didn't swing. That's good. That is good, Snapcaster Mage. Jeez. Just making me wish I had Lightning Bolt in the bin. I don't want to play the Misty because this is an 11-11, and I really don't want to have to block it. Can we beat Temur Battle Rage if we put both of these in front? This will essentially have 22 trampling power. We're at 12. We're not blocking 11. So I don't think we need to play around Temur Battle Rage. Thinning the deck could end up being relevant, because I don't think the one life is going to at this point. That Shadow, pretty likely to just kill us. Snap Leak could be very good here, depending on what they have. Yes, I would love the chance to Snap Leak. No doubt in my mind. I much would have preferred Snap Bolt. What do we got? They're going to push that. That's fair. Snap Trigger is going to resolve. We're going to counter this. Blue-red. One creature each. Simic Charm. Bouncing Shadow. Very lethal here unless their last card is a denial. Are we going to fetch? We probably want to fetch. Means we have to block Shadow. I like not having to block Shadow, actually. This puts the onus on them. What do we got? Serum Visions. Love it. Top card. Bauble. Bolt on top. Fantastic. We're going to play out this Mishra's Bauble. We're going to make them have Stubborn Denial in their hand right now. Take a quick look. I don't remember when we saw that Steam Vents Thoughtseize. Well, we know what they're drawing, and that doesn't scare me. So I don't really need to bolt them now. I wanted to bauble on our turn so that we drew this and in upkeep we could kill them. But since we know they're drawing a complete dud, we don't really have to. We can draw this out a little longer. We still know that the only thing they could possibly have is Denial. I'm going to draw another card. It's another Mishra's Bauble. Let's keep it up. I am very okay with this. What's your next card? Is it going to force me to do something? It is. Bloodstained Mire makes Shadow lethal. I'm still going to see if we draw something great here. Since we don't have to act just yet. What is it? It's a Misty. Okay, we know they're drawing Bloodstained Mire. We don't have to go for this. They played that. They have Thoughtseize plus Mystery card. This is threatening lethal, so if they attack, I'm going to bolt them and force them to have it. Do you have it? Is there a denial in your hand? There isn't. We did it. Good job, team. We are up a game against Traverse Shadow. I believe I have a sideboard plan. I don't think I have a sideboard plan. Alright, we're going to treat this probably a lot like Grixis. Yeah, we have a sideboard plan. Look at me go. Being prepared for things. That was fantastic. I love Lightning Bolt against Death Shadow decks. Doesn't kill many of their creatures after Shadow becomes a 4/4, but man, who needs to do that when you just kill the opponent? Vendilion Cloak looking very good here. I like an evasive 3-power threat that takes away their best card, even if it gets them a redraw to what's probably a really good card. Blood Moon turns off their fetches, which makes it a lot harder for them to grow Death Shadow. It also can cut off their mana, and it's a threat that they might just have to Thoughtseize. It's really bad on tempo, but it just gives us more cards that they need to deal with. So if we have a hand of Goyf Goyf, Blood Moon, Mandrills, and a bunch of lands, and they have discard, they just have to start going through all of it, and it makes it a lot harder for us to end up with a lot of nothing after the discard dust settles. Spreading Seas, I want EE because against Traverse Shadow, it's the nuts. It's okay against Grixis taking out Death Shadow's sometimes Snapcaster Mages. You can hit Tarmogoyf, Death Shadow, Liliana, the other Liliana. We're actually going to have to keep an eye out for Liliana the Last Hope. Going to be very good against V-Click, Snapcaster Mage, Delver. What else do we want here? I just grabbed the explosives, Basilisk Collar, and Huntmaster. Shadow makes life gain not the best, but in that game, you know what? If that Mandrills had gained us 4 life, we would have had an extra turn at least. Also, Mandrills being able to swing there with Death Touch and Trample would have just been game. So there's that. Basilisk Collar, I think, is a really good card. It could end up being kind of bad against these mid-range decks that just get you into top deck mode, but I'm going to try it. I am boarding out some Mandrills, so maybe it makes that worse. Don't want too many of them because of the Tarmogoyfs and the Shadows. Mandrills gets outclassed in this kind of matchup. Maybe that changes with Curious Obsession. Forked Bolt gonna go. And then 2 Snares, 2 Mana Leaks, 1 Denial. Snare, probably worse against this deck than the Grixis counterpart, because the Grixis one runs Snapcaster Mage, which comes down much later than Tarmogoyf, and therefore you can snare more easily. I don't know if I want this Obsession. How many threats do we have? We have 15 creatures. Maybe we just want a Mandrills back. Do that. Let's do that. I don't think Obsession's going to be that great against them. This hand is actually kind of almost good. We've got removal, we've got stuff to hit their mana, and also cantrip. We have a threat that is almost certainly going to die. I also like not mulliganing against this kind of deck when you don't have to. We've got 3 lands, Thought Scour. I can dig it. Bloodstained Mire, we're probably going to see a discard spell here. Definitely wouldn't be surprised. They just fetch shocked and street wraithed. Did they street wraith first? They did. They might be looking for lands here. We are going to go Steam Vents Delver. That's almost certainly the best play we could have. If this eats a Fatal Push and clears the way for our other threats, I'd probably be quite happy. Engineered Explosives we're probably going to have to be careful with, because I would not be surprised to see some Kolaghan's commands. Savage Knuckleblade not going to get revealed, probably not going to get scoured either. I think I just want to try to Spreading Seas this. If they denial it, so be it. We do want to attack first. If we can get them to tap out for something, that'd be great. No. Alright. We also might be helping them with the Death Shadow plan, but we have some outs to that. In EE, do I want to crack this to get the basic forest? It makes Blood Moon better. We already have a lot of colors. We don't really need to worry about our mana situation. I like taking less damage. I also don't hate cracking this now to just take a land out of the deck. We don't really need more than 4. 5 is probably the most we want to see. We crack this now. We slam Spreading Seas. I'm pretty well expecting this to eat a denial. But if we can turn this into an island, I will just be all kinds of ecstatic. I think we're going to crack this now. Gives up on Delver Scry later, which is a downside. But I do want to get this down. They can't decay this, which I like, but I do think this is going to get denialed. Yep, that's probably just fine. I don't know if you should just hold up Thought Scour there. That could very well be better. If we've got a couple of shadows here, we almost certainly just slam EE and get in there. If they have just one shadow, I'm going to be a little on the fence about it. Maybe you just shouldn't slam Spreading Seas there. Trying to take them off of... Yeah, I really like the... And it cuts them off of green. We didn't know about the fetch. I mean, just imagine Traverse Shadow with just islands. It sounds like a miserable deck. Mandrill's going to be great eventually. This Delver probably just attacks. They might play around Lightning Bolt. They might have another denial. That's another reason I like going for the Spreading Seas there. If they have just the one, it helps clear the way for this EE. I'm going to swing in case they're playing around Lightning Bolt. They might actually not want to block this and just take the one. We are going to shock here. I think I'd rather play the Breeding Pool. Cast this for 1. See if that resolves. If not, we probably scour and slam Mandrills. It did. We probably just pass to them in that case. We don't need to go for this until they actually go for a Kolaghan's command, or until they attack. Once they attack, we probably just pop it. Mishra's Bauble, that's very good. That could help them find a threat. They're kind of flooding themselves. Neither of us play many lands. Although, to be fair, post-board, I want more lands. I don't know about them. Let's kill all these 1-drops. We are 2 for 1-ing ourselves. But you know what? They have 1 card in hand and a bauble. Is it a Goyf? Or a Shadow? I might actually be able to live with Goyf. They looked at our top card? They did. It's a Traverse. That's good. That's quality right there. That's a good Magic card. Death Shadow number 2 coming down. Well, they get to draw a card. But we have 2 threats and a Scour. We hit the 5th land. We can crack this and play both of our threats. There's basically no way that our opponent is on a board wipe, right? We can just put a bunch of pressure on them. Get a basic island here. We do have mana for Nux and Mandrills. Yeah, I'm down. I'm very in for this. We're going to make Tarmogoyf smaller. I'm okay with shrinking Goyfs by taking out this enchantment, because the opponent's Goyfs are better than our Goyfs. We don't have Fatal Pushes in our deck. That makes their Tarmogoyfs much more likely to survive than our Tarmogoyfs. Also, we've got big Nux here. Thoughtseize is actually really good in that it's making the Shadow able to rumble with a 6/6 Nux. We're not going to swing. Oh, geez. We just won, right? They're out of cards. We have enough mana for Grow plus Bounce. We actually don't even need to do all of this, but I'm going to pay Shock anyways for completeness sake. We're going to swing. Get in there. Before blocks, I think I want to bounce this. Just cause. Let both of our creatures get in here. Blue-green. We may as well. Otherwise, they're going to block Nux probably, and we have to Simic Charm the Mandrills. And I feel like Nux deserves to get some damage in, so we're going to do it that way. We had a couple ways to skin that cat. Up the match on Traverse Shadow. I gotta say, I'm happy about that. I'm gonna allow OBS to let everyone know that we are 1-0. And let's head into match 2, shall we? Gotta say, being up the first match beats the hell out of being down the first match. Let's see how match 2 goes. We're on the play, that's a start. What do we got? 2 lands. Alright, so this is the hand that you really hate keeping if you expect big mana, but it's ungodly against aggro, and it even looks really good against mid-range, although slow. What's the consensus? Do we mulligan to play around big mana? Anyone think our opponent's going to be on Tron? Anyone at all? By the way, thanks everybody for joining or watching the recording on YouTube. I love it when you guys stop by. If anyone in the chat right now has an opinion, let it be known, because pretty soon I'm just going to mulligan this, I think. This is pretty... you know what? Big mana is not a big percentage of the metagame. Do we just keep this? I think it's an okay keep too, Lieberger. Anybody think this is bad? I'm going to keep it. If you guys think this is bad, you should say it right now. I'm keeping it. Yeah, I think it's okay to mulligan too. We're going to lead on the Foothills, probably. Chances are we're not going to have to snare anything. If we do, we'll just suck it up and get a breeding pool. Untapped. Otherwise, we just get something tapped. Play out this Foothills. Send it over to the opponent and pop out these graveyards. Are you on big mana, sir? I would love to see a Mana Dork. Oh, geez, it's Colonnade. That's one of the matchups I don't love this hand against. This could be rough. We'll get a breeding pool. Mandrills, that's probably going to be great. We don't have much of a reason to shock here, so I'm just going to play that tapped and pass. They might be on Jeskai, which makes our life total very relevant. There is the argument for the end-step bolt, though, to get to Mandrills sooner. Serum Visions, that's fine. I don't hate having Spell Snare up on 2 against a blue-white deck, because there is a good chance they've got Search for Azcanta. Them doing not much here makes me wish I shocked for that bolt. Maybe that was better. What do we got? Simic Charm. Alright. If they don't do anything we need to deal with, we are definitely losing this bolt. It's debatable that we actually should have gotten a Stomping Ground here for the extra red, but I think double blue's a bit better, especially once we start playing threats and wanting to hold up counterspells. This might have been a mulligan. Think I'm going to ask about that later on. If anyone's watching the recording on YouTube, feel free to comment and let me know what you think about the Spell Snare, Tarfire, Forked Bolt, Lightning Bolt, Steam Vents, Wooded Foothills hand. Could be really good, could be absolutely terrible. Right now, we're probably leaning towards the terrible side of the spectrum, but I don't think it's that far over. Spell Snare certainly a good card against these decks. Snap Serum Visions, I'll counter that. I do not mind countering that. Gets us to Mandrills sooner. We probably fire off the Tarfire first, even though it's going to make Delirium and Goyf worse. You know what? I'm going to fire off the Bolt because of that. What do we got? Another Bolt. Well, we passed the turn again. We could Forked Bolt them. That's a bit better at cleaning up Snapcaster Mages, though, and teams up very nicely with Lightning Bolt to take out Colonnades. So I think on the end step here, we go for the Tarfire. This could be a Jace. Jace tick up, Fate Seal. In which case we Tarfire it, untap, bolt it, slam Mandrills, hope they don't have Path. Or Gideon, or Detention Sphere, or all the other excellent removal spells they're running. Looks like we're up against straight up blue-white. We can Mandrills and hold up Spell Snare. Chances are their counter of choice is going to be Logic Knot, not Remand or Leak. Do we just slam this? I think we do. We're going to hold up the Steam Vents, just in case we are facing down a Jace. Did I not hit green? I am exactly the kind of person who would not hit green. Yeah, they could have Cryptic too. I do think we just have to slam this. We really have absolutely nothing going on. Soon those Colonnades are going to be online. They block Mandrills very well. Cryptic's certainly bad for us. But there's not a lot we could do. Jace also really bad for us here. But at least we get to straight up kill it. This looks like Path. It's Gideon. That's going to tick up. We're probably going to double burn spell it. Oh, we might actually just Tarfire it here. Untap. And then we can Simic Charm for Hexproof the next time it tries to target Mandrills. Oh, we don't have Tarfire. We used it. Don't love using the Bolt or the Forked Bolt for this. Forked Bolt we have to untap for. That means our entire next turn is Simic Charm. That's not the worst, though. I think we're going to go for the Bolt. It's not looking like it's going to get much better. Yes, I'd love to redirect. We're going to have to deal with Gideon soon enough. What do we got? We could actually just kill Gideon. Is straight up killing Gideon better? Probably. It's probably just better. See if that resolves. It does. We're going to take out Gideon. Not going to swing here. Verdict, very bad for us. Path, not the worst if it's their only thing. We're not in a great spot, but we're kind of in it. So, we're not out of the game yet, at least. That's nice. The fact that our keep is really bad against control makes me leaning a little closer towards that probably being a mulligan, but I think it's pretty close. It's just so good against aggro. And Modern's a big aggro deck, and it kills combo. Snare hits a lot of combo cards. Storm, Devoted Company, or Vizier Company, or Counters Company. I personally hate the name Counters Company, but call it whatever you like. Snare just hits a lot of things, 2-drops, and burn spells are really good. If one of those burn spells was a threat, that hand probably would have been a much easier keep. What are you going to do, though? We'll just try to figure out that later and learn from it. Our blue-white opponent seems to be very much in the tank. They haven't played a land yet, so they have access. There's the land. It's a Mystic Gate. What do we got? Could even be a Terminus. Animating Colonnade. That's aggressive. That is very aggressive. They might have a path here, so I don't really want to end step Scour. I don't think there's much reason for them to want to race here unless they're expecting to resolve a path or their hand is just really, really good. So I'm not going to press the issue. Delver of Secrets looks nice. I'm going to get in here, see if they have the path. Looks like they don't. Playing out this Delver's probably fine. Go over to them. I'm not sure why they made that attack. I'm pretty scared of it. Why not attack last turn? The Mandrills was not able to do damage because of Gideon's +1. Until next turn, prevent all damage target permanent would deal. Something these blue-white decks like to do a lot is you play a threat, they play a Gideon, and they just tick up forever. Possible I should have played around the verdict by not playing out Delver, but Mandrills alone's a pretty slow clock. What do we have here? Spreading Seas on our red source, probably worth snaring. And then while they're ticking up and making your threat really bad, you play out a second threat, say a Goyf, instead of our Delver, which I'm a lot happier to lose than a Goyf. And then Verdict comes down. Gideon probably starts smashing in at that point. We're going to do this, try to gas back up. We're not down that many cards. We found a Lightning Bolt. And a Denial. This is one of the problems I have with this deck. We had 2 threats so far, which to be fair is kind of our fault for keeping that hand. We have Simic Charm and Stubborn Denial doing a lot of nothing at the moment. Field of Ruin, that's not actually the worst because most of our basics are still in the deck. Whatever land they go for here, Colonnade beats. I don't think we want to bounce this yet. I'm going to hope that we can stick a threat and use Simic Charm to protect it for a turn. Although most of those threats are just Delver of Secrets. So maybe we should bounce this, but we'll wait a turn. See what happens. Probably do that next turn. What do we got? Draw step. Ooh, Field of Ruin. I kind of like them going for this after we draw in case we draw our basic mountain. We're going to tap this for red, I think, just because we can. I like tapping lands people destroy just for completeness sake. This is going to make Simic Charm worse. Do we want to bolt them? Probably. We have a chance to just win on the burn plan, although that's really slim. Tarmo Goyf with Denial up. And now we pray that they have a lot of nothing. We can Denial something that is not Supreme Verdict. And then maybe we untap Simic Charm, ba-boom. We can Denial Jace. We can Denial a lot of cards. A lot of counterable non-creatures in blue-white control. 2, 3, Jace. That Jace is probably going to be a bad factor fiction. Them making Goyf 1 smaller doesn't bother me. So I'm going to let this resolve in case they're trying to bait out a counterspell. I'd much rather Denial something else. They're ticking up. They might be working towards the -8 to just win the game. They do have Colonnade to sort of protect them. Debatable that we should have just gotten an island so that we could Simic Charm and Denial. Traverse. Temporarily takes us off of Simic Charm. We can get a land. We can get a threat. Most of those aren't fantastic. I'm going to start by attacking them. We can get a Snapcaster Mage, which is going to be super relevant if they take this 5. Do they take this 5? I assume they block with a Colonnade. It's a path that's probably worth denialing. We might get in. If we connect here, we're in good shape. Does that work? Nah, they just have a second path. And like I said, we got red. Probably a misplay on our part. We're going to use the ability, though. Green or blue? We already have double blue if we need it. We don't really need double green. We might. Yeah, we're going to get double green for the Simic Charm next turn. I am going to go get us a Tarmogoyf, because I think we deserve it. Nux, probably not what we want here. Goyf is just really big, and they're low on answers. I expect we're going to take 4 next turn, but if they do that, they need to answer Goyf, and since we got the Forest, we can Simic Charm. So I think it's Goyf. It could be Mandrills, but Colonnade blocks that very well, so I'm going to go with Tarmogoyf. They could draw a counter here, which would be very bad for us. In fact, I'm half expecting them to Factor Fiction here to find an answer to this Goyf. That's probably pretty good for them. Basically, we should have given up on red, since we already had red in pool to get our last bolt out of our hand. Just given up on the burn plan, gotten an island to make the cards in our hand better. I think that was a misplay. That's a fact or fiction. Don't show me an answer to Goyf. Spreading Seas is a roundabout answer. Click is also really good. I don't want them to have Click. They're going to have Click. Ah, that sucks. They can also Field of Ruin and Spreading Seas if we give them that half. Okay, so we want them to take the Click so that they get rid of our Goyf, and we hope to draw another Goyf, because they can cut us off of green with these two. So I think we just can't give them both of those cards. I think you do that since Spreading Seas cantrips. I think that's the best thing we can do. Click also going to speed up their clock. I think this was very winnable if we got the island instead of this mountain. Don't believe we had Simic Charm. Yeah, we did, because we untapped with the Tarmogoyf. That's the only way it could attack. So they took Click plus Field of Ruin. They're also going to take one of our cards. Here comes Colonnade. That actually puts us on enough of a clock that maybe we should have just hoped to give them the two green sources, but that seems bad too. This is probably just rock and hard place. We could have been in a good spot. We're going to draw a card. They're going to click away our best card, probably just that Tarmogoyf. Oh, they're clicking us now. I don't like that. You click after draw here. Oh, they're Field of Ruining. Okay, we're going to get another island. Simic Charm going to be very bad. But we already expected that, so... Stomping Ground. Click us into another Goyf, please. That's what we need here. Another Goyf. Then we defensive Simic Charm to not die next turn, and we can do that because of the Stomping Ground giving us access to green. So what we need right now is for them to have nothing and for us to get another Goyf. They also might just take the Simic Charm, since it keeps us alive and they have lethal on the board. I could see that. I could see that. Think we made a couple of misplays here. Keeping that hand might have been one of them. Getting... Yeah, that's bad for us. No, we already drew. We drew the Stomping Ground. They know about the Stomping Ground, so I probably just put it into play tapped. We're going to bounce something if they let us. I think getting the mountain was a misplay. I believe that's where we went wrong this game. Blue-white control, what I would consider a bad matchup. Do you need more good things? Another Click? This is a pretty good Jace. I think I've been underestimating this. How good is Mana Leak against us? If they have Mana Leak, we just lose. If they have Spreading Seas, they hit our Forest, we probably also just lose. Then again, we get to bounce Click, but that clicks us again. We're basically just dead here. I don't think much of this matters. Click pretty well kills us, Leak pretty well kills us, and Spreading Seas pretty well kills us. So give them Click and Leak so they don't draw the extra card while they kill us. Although they're getting an extra card this way, but at least they don't get to pick Spreading Seas plus a card. We're just very dead. Click and Leak in their hand. We also had to Simic Charm before giving them the Mana Leak, which we literally can't do because the ability is already resolving, so we're just very dead. That's what that is. We needed to Shock if we wanted to play around Mana Leak. On the plus side, we now know they're playing Mana Leak. That is a bit of information that I enjoy having. I do think this matchup gets better post-board. We should have bounced this before they attacked so that they don't get to benefit from Vigilance and tapping it for mana. But we're still going to go for this. We're dead anyways. It doesn't actually matter. We're just going to cast our Simic Charm for completeness sake. They're going to Mana Leak. We're not going to pay 3. Not with these two lands. And that's why you want to go for the Colonnade before they attack with it. If we had another thing and they have Cryptic or something to that effect, it's very relevant. We're going to go to 0 and post-board. Let's sideboard some stuff. I do think the matchup gets better. I don't know how much, and I don't know how good all of our cards are. I like Destructive Revelry because I'm expecting Detention Sphere, things like that. Maybe a Search for Azcanta we can hit. Deprive is going to come in. We are basically going to cut as many bad cards as we have. Just run a bunch of threats and some extra disruption that's better. Things like Deprive and Click. That will make it a little easier for our stuff to hit in. I like having a couple of Blood Moons in this matchup because they do have a lot of non-basics. We can theoretically take them off of Verdict for a little while, take them off of Cryptic. Turns off Colonnade, which is amazing. Turning off Field of Ruin, not bad either because it makes their mana denial plan a lot worse. The downside to Blood Moon for Field of Ruin is Field of Ruin makes Blood Moon a lot worse. So that's a little bit of tension there. EE for the Gideon of the Trials of the World. Detention Sphere again. They're permanents that are sometimes very difficult to deal with. And Huntmaster of the Fells, just going to present some more threat density. Build up our board. What are we going to cut? We have a lot of cards that are not very good. Curious Obsession. We had a lot of trouble sticking a threat that game. 2 Thought Scours can go because this is going to be very interactive. I'm hoping we don't run into Rest in Peace, but I do think they run it. Forked Bolt, not great. Can clean up Snapcaster Mages. Doesn't do all that much besides that. I'm only cutting one of the real bolts because of Jace. We are going to cut a Tarfire. Burn Spell's just not very good here. Roast does a lot of nothing, and Dismember is an answer to Colonnade, but Blood Moon will hopefully cover that well enough. I believe we're going to run this. We've got 17 threats. Not a lot of cards transform Delver, but I'm pretty well okay with that, because if Delver just incentivizes them to blow some removal, I am down. We want our Spell Snares and our Stubborn Denials. Mana Leak, I could see trimming, especially with bringing in something that hard counters like Deprive, but I think Leak is probably better than anything we have here. Let's move half of these over so we can see a little better. Maybe you want Thought Scour over that Mana Leak. I could actually see myself making that change right now. Maybe we're going to do that on the draw. On the play, I think Mana Leak is significantly better. At least significantly better than it is otherwise. We are going to be on the play and mulligan this hand. This is a much easier decision than game 1. If these were 2 lands, this would be a sweet keep. What do we got? That is perfectly serviceable. Turn 1 Delver, turn 2 Tarmogoyf. Lightning Bolt in the mix for some versatility. Couple lands. We've got Blood Moon mana. We're going to... do we want to top that Mishra's Bauble? It's not going to let Delver transform. It's going to make Goyf a bit better. Synergize with these fetch lands to scry. I'm going to bottom it. Just play out the island. Delver go. See if that transforms. We do have a pretty good chance here, since we did bottom something that doesn't transform it. They also don't have counters up, so I don't hate... Ooh, Blood Moon. That's not something I want to go for right now, but I don't mind getting a Stomping Ground with this... Oh, we screwed up. We screwed up because we had Island. We needed to lead on Steam Vents off of this Flooded Strand, giving up on the Scry so that this could get a basic forest and make our Blood Moon a lot less telegraphed. Now they might have a Spreading Seas and just give us a bad day. Then again, we could give up on the Blood Moon plan, but Flooded Strand not being a Scalding Tarn, going to be very relevant if they Spreading Seas that forest, because this can't get Stomping Ground, which is exactly what you want when you have 2 islands there. So that is going to be unfortunate. Plains, already making Blood Moon worse. It's a Search for Azcanta. Well, that does help them to find what they need. Steam Vents. Well, that's interesting. Don't know if I want to go for Blood Moon right now. If we do want to cast Blood Moon, we probably go for it now. I think we're going to want the high variance play here. The opponent has 6 cards in hand. If Blood Moon's bad, then both of these aren't very good. We have a small Goyf and an unflipped Delver. They have a card advantage engine here. So I think what we're going to do is pay shock, cast this Blood Moon, and hope this derails their plan long enough for us to sneak in a win. Search for Ascanta, going to give them some card advantage and help them dig towards cards that are actually good, like that Serum Visions is not. However, I think at this point Blood Moon's probably our best bet. If they find a basic island, they have Verdict on. Oh, that's good, but we can bolt that. So that's only going to slow us down 1 turn. Tarmogoyf offline, but Delver plus Bolt going to make short work of that. Huntmaster. Don't want to play into the Verdict in case they do have Island and Verdict, so we're just going to do this. Yep. Play a Flooded Strand, which is a mountain. I believe I want to kill Gideon now in case they have Island plus Negate. Negate something. These decks sideboard and Negate. We made Goyf bigger, so that's nice. Soon enough, we are going to slam this Mandrels Huntmaster, regardlessly of how much I fear Verdict, just because sooner or later we're going to have to play it. They didn't bin their card, which is very scary. Whatever they drew, they wanted to draw. It was a Plains into another one of those Gideons. I think next turn we just slam Huntmaster. Regardlessly of how bad Verdict's going to be for us. Verdict is going to be really bad for us in any case. Can this transform off of something good? It can actually, yes. I think we're not going to cast Huntmaster. Attack Gideon. Blowing up Search for Ascanta seems really good. Blowing it up while killing Gideon of the Trials seems even better. That puts an enchantment in the bin for Goyf. Field of Ruin, very bad here. I like that. Path is going to be good for the opponent. Hey, Nathan, I believe I recognize you from YouTube. So, greetings to you as well. We are going to try to get in for 8 here. There aren't any artifacts in the bin yet, so let's make that more than 8. If we see a Verdict, we didn't. That makes me kind of want to play this Huntmaster, but on the other hand, we have Lethal on board. Verdict is a good way for them to claw back into this, so I'm not going to play out Huntmaster. Click, something that has a lot of anti-synergy with Blood Moon. Definitely something to note. Hey, we took it. Good job, guys. Alright, do we want to board out Mana Leak for this Thought Scour? I think that's going to be something we do from now on. I like the idea of that. We could theoretically board out a number of Blood Moon just because they're probably going to play around it as much as they can. Usually when an opponent loses to Blood Moon, they very strongly want to not lose to Blood Moon in the next game. I think this is fine though. I am also probably going to update my sideboard spreadsheet to reflect that I like the Thought Scour over the Mana Leak on the draw. But I can do that at my leisure. Right now, we're going to play more Magic. How is this hand? It's just terrible. It does nothing. A lot of nothing. It casts Stubborn Denial and Tarfire. Let's take a mulligan. That's better. That is far superior. We're going to bottom that because I'd much rather have a land here. We probably lead on Visions, but I might lead on Delver. I'm also pretty well expecting them to Spreading Seas whatever we get off of this Misty. It might just have to be a Breeding Pool, but I don't even mind leaving Breeding Pool in the deck, just so that they don't hit that. That's notably a lot worse, though, if we don't find another fetch or something to that effect. Are you saying mull the first or the second? Because I kind of like this second hand. I definitely agree that the first one's a mulligan. We had the ability to cast Tarfire and Denial. That's not where we want to be. I don't think I even like that against decks where Tarfire and Denial are good. We're going to play out this Misty. Steam Vents or Breeding Pool is the question. We can get the Steam Vents in the hopes that they have the Spreading Seas. But that's a little risky. I think we get the Breeding Pool if we want to lead on Delver, just because we're a lot less likely to find a land in that case. But right here, I really want to find more lands. I don't think we need to slam Delver right away. So I believe Serum Visions is the play. Look at that. We're going to top Lightning Bolt, and no, we don't. We don't. We might. One Lightning Bolt, not bad. Yeah, we are. We're going to top both of these. If we want to play a green spell, we can just dump that bolt, fetch it, shuffle it back away. I like that. Yeah. Thank you, opponent. Alright. I think we want to hold off on this until we actually cast Mandrills, so we're gonna lead on this. We probably shouldn't have played that, but we knew what we were drawing. Do we want Huntmaster here? Chances are we're gonna find a bunch of lands. Top both of these. We can shuffle it away if we want to slam a fatty. Here comes Delver. Gideon going to be very annoying. You could theoretically hold up Denial there to play around Gideon. I'm not sure if I like that. I do like playing out Delver. Maybe that's just what you should do. Sort of like how I believe you should play around Liliana of the Veil against Jund, if/when you have the opportunity to. I think Gideon of the Trials is very good and might just be worth not doing anything on turn 3 for. We know Delver's not transforming, so that probably would have just been better. Now, shuffling away the Huntmaster feels really bad when I'm full-on expecting a Supreme Verdict. I think play out Delver, let Bolt flip it, but you're also holding up Stubborn Denial. What do you mean there? You mean put the Bolt such that it can transform the Delver and hold up Stubborn Denial, but that... Oh, you're saying don't play the Visions. Am I correct with that? I think... I really don't want to play into the Verdict, but I don't think we have another line of play. Yeah, maybe not going for Visions would have been better. I think you have a pretty good idea there. Now that I'm leaning more towards playing around the Gideon, I think I like that line a bit more. This could be a Verdict, but at least we get to play Mandrills with Denial up. Then again, Gideon's going to make Mandrills look pretty silly too, so looks like we should have just held up the Stubborn Denial. I think that's the play from now on. Hold up Denial, play around Gideon. Seems like a good idea. That obviously looks a lot better when you can cast that Lightning Bolt off the Steam Vents, but we didn't have that kind of option. If they path us, our mana looks pretty good. Flooded Strand, that also makes our mana pretty good because we can deal with this Spreading Seas if we feel like it. Do we feel like it? Probably. We definitely want to swing into Gideon. We can take out Gideon if we commit everything but this island. Get a red source here, red plus green, blow up Spreading Seas, free up red source, bolt, finish off Gideon. I kind of want to start going for that first, actually. I'm going to grab the other Steam Vents here. I want to find out if Delver needs to attack Gideon, basically. So we're going to blow up this, red-green. See if that resolves. If they counter this, we do probably just attack Gideon to try to keep it in check a little bit. It resolved. Send the damage over. And we have a 4/5 which turns on Denial now. Oh yeah. I am in for this. What do we got? It's a counter spell. We might just Denial it and hope they don't have a path. 2 mana. Smells like Logic Knot. It's Mana Leak. I really want that Bolt to resolve, I think. They didn't Verdict us there, but they also played a tapped land, so maybe they're just sleeping on the Verdict. We still have Mandrills. I think I want to go for this. If they path Goyf, Verdict is even less scary. You could play 1 Deprive in the 75. I do have a Deprive in the sideboard. It's actually in the deck currently, because I agree with you, I like that kind of spell against control. I would show you the sideboard, but it's not there, so that doesn't do much. I guess we could head over to the collection for a moment. That's the league. This is the deck we're playing. Deprive, ba-boom. Head back over here. They took 1. It's currently their turn. Let's take a look at the sideboard. No Deprive in the deck currently. I wholeheartedly agree. I like it. This could be a Verdict or another Gideon. It's a Verdict. Well, I think Denial there was still perfectly fair. Delver plus Mandrills. Do we play both of these? If they have another Verdict, we probably lose on the spot. If they have another Verdict, they kill whatever we play out and we still probably lose on the spot. I believe the line is to hope they don't have Verdict, because right now we have absolutely nothing going on. I would play them both out. I agree with you, Lieberger. Let's delve a bit here. We have 2 Serum Visions. We also have a lot of creatures. I'm going to get rid of a Delver. See what the opponent's got. It's a land. And what'll it be, opponent? Is it good? Is it everything you've ever dreamed of? If they just have spot removal, playing out both is definitely good. Now that we've seen Rest in Peace, I'm ecstatic that we played out the Hooting Mandrills. Almost freaking out. Makes Traverse and Tarmogoyf a lot worse. Huntmaster's off the top, looking very nice. Is Delver going to transform? Path. Goodbye, Mandrills. It was nice knowing you. Not Path. 2 mana. Path. Why are they floating mana? Do they have 2 paths? I'm absolutely going to use the ability. I love getting better mana and ramping. What are you doing with this? 2 paths, okay. Well, Field of Ruin just got really good against us. Delver trigger gonna resolve. It's a Tarfire. We're not gonna reveal that. We will draw it. Tarfire, not what we want. Blood Moon would have been insane there. Although the opponent can still pretty well play Magic, but it cuts off a lot of stuff, including that Celestial Colonnade, which I would not be surprised to see ramp up right now. Here come the Colonnade beats. Yep. I'm going to hold on to this Tarfire for just a little while in case we draw another burn spell that can be cast at instant speed. Actually, Forked Bolt's out of the deck. All of our burn spells are cast at instant speed. If we can deal with this, I'd be pretty happy. Serum Vision's very good for the opponent. Hopefully we can cobble together a win here. It's not looking good. But you know what? It's not looking that much better for the opponent. We have a lot of live draws. We also have a lot of bad draws. That's live. I believe we want to click on their turn. On their draw step, probably. Probably on their draw step. Click. And we were able to cast it. We could click away Tarfire. But Tarfire teams up with Click to deal with Colonnade, so I think I want to keep both. Got a counter? Oh, a counter would be brutal here. Maybe we should have clicked earlier, just in case they top deck a counter spell. I guess they don't have that many. Verdict is very good against us. Mana Leak less so. We know about Mana Leak, and it won't be shown here, so I think I'm going to jot it down somewhere. Field of Ruin, pretty good against us right now. Also probably turns on Mana Leak with Colonnade. I believe we get to Tarfire here, though, and if they want to save their Colonnade, they can't attack. Which is something I like. Not going to jot down Mana Leak just yet, because they might cast it here. They also might just let this resolve and not attack. Maybe we should have let them attack. No, I don't like that. Then they get to take out our Tarfire for sure. At least this way, Tarfire was a fog. Because if we let them attack, we definitely cast Tarfire. We could swing for 3, but that's looking pretty bad. Oh, we're swinging for 3, and we can pay for Mana Leak. And this turns off Field of Ruin. And I am just happy. I am just happy. Show me the Mana Leak. Make me tap out. You should at least make me tap out. Mana Leak not getting much better here. I think the opponent should play it. I like this from our opponent. Cast the Mana Leak. Do it. Get it out of your hand. Or don't. That's fine. We have a clock. They don't. Blood Moon off the top. Oh yeah. That's fantastic. We still know about Mana Leak. I'm going to pop it into the chat here. Try not to hit send, because I don't want to bombard the opponent with cards that they have. They hit Plains, which turns on future verdicts. They don't have one yet, though. They don't have one yet. Denial looks really bad with Click. Vendilion Click looking nice here. All in favor of keeping Vendilion Clique. I think this card is pretty good right now. I like it. I like it a lot. Cost me something like 16 ticks. I don't like that. Hey, actually, they have clicks too. We don't bother denying this. We could activate the ability, but it's not going to do anything. We draw a card. They still have leak. This does nothing. Blood Moon for the wins. Blood Moon did take the previous game. I don't think we bother playing out our mountain, so I'm just going to pass here. We could play it next turn if we want to Huntmaster through that mana leak. They're not doing anything. Vendilion Clique in our draw step would be pretty good. Not that we can play around that at all, so I guess it's not even worth mentioning. We might have to play a bit faster here. We drew another land. I'm going to play out one of these. Just because we may as well. It's theoretically possible that we can trip into something and we end up wanting both of those lands on the battlefield. Detention Sphere going to take out Blood Moon. That's pretty good. That's very good. That turns Colonnade back on. Oh boy. Oh boy. Revelry is gone. EE. Engineered Explosives. Let's do it. We can totally do that through Mana Leak. I kind of don't like them tapping the Field of Ruin to cast this, since they've seen all of our basics and we didn't get anything off of that path. They didn't attack here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because they want to hold up Mana Leak. We're going to untap, draw something really good. It's Spell Snare, that's not really good. I have a feeling Blood Moon is not going to be for the win here. Clique did a lot of work, yeah. They can fetch out another, I want to say Island here. It's a Plains. What do I know? I don't play blue-white. I do like them going Colonnade here. They have Leak plus Mystery card. I believe we're very dead, but we have a non-zero chance of taking this, so there's no way we're going to scoop. What do we got? Huntmaster gets us in the game. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have to play this land, but I might do it anyways. Notably, if they can counter this and we crack this fetch, we're going to end up dying to Colonnade immediately. But it's probably worth it to play it out just in case it ends up mattering. We may as well tap these because I have no expectation of Blood Moon coming back this turn. It resolved, so that's nice. They didn't go for the Mana Leak. Alright, we don't really have an expectation of being able to transform that back and forth, though. So I don't think Huntmaster is going to be gaining us any more life. Field of Ruin, Supreme Verdict. Yeah, that works. That works. They still have Mana Leak. That's probably why they decided to do that. Yeah, they probably drew that island they played for turn. The opponent has literally double the time we have, but I don't think that's relevant. We're going to go to 4. And I believe we fetch here because we're dead anyways. And they don't have anything that deals 2 exactly. Is Stomping Ground gone? Stomping Ground? Stomping Ground is not gone. Let's go get it. Definitely not killing ourselves. And we thinned the deck so that we could draw Simic Charm. That buys us a turn. It's not good, but it buys us a turn. Which means we have another chance to draw Engineered Explosives. Or the other Blood Moon. I forgot we had a second Blood Moon. That's definitely a live draw. We're going to not let this attack before we go for it in case they have a bunch of stuff. Colonnade, we're going to bounce that immediately. Return. That does let them put it back down, but we can't stop them from putting it back down, so that's not relevant at all. Yeah, they just went with it. That's fair. They're not bothering. They don't want to fight us. They're saving their Mana Leak for more relevant things. What do we got? Thought Scour, redraw upon redraw. Blood Moon. EE. Best card ever. Deprive is not the best card ever. I do kind of like counter spells against control decks. But you'll notice we have 3 counter spells that are not being cast right now. And we're dead on board. And we can counter that. Teach you to cast things. Did they elect not to attack with Colonnade this turn? They have Negate. I'm going to counter that too. They have the Mana Leak, which they're going to be able to cast. Oh, we can pay for Mana Leak. Jeez. Why did they do that? Why didn't they attack? I'm confused. I guess they weren't playing around counterspells? I mean, you don't have to, but Colonnade wins on board. Okay, we're dead again. Is the opponent going to kill us? We've been dead for like 5 turns. Then again, Control is kind of slow at closing games, but they have the option. Here we go. Sweet Release. They misclicked? They had to have misclicked. I don't know what's going on, guys. Maybe they're playing with us? They didn't attack last turn when they probably could have just won. They animated and didn't attack. I am assuming they misclicked. I'm going to assume our opponent isn't just having fun pretending to not kill us, playing with their food here. Yeah, they should definitely attack at their earliest convenience. Giving us a chance to draw more outs seems like a bad thing for our opponent, so I like just killing us there. We are 1-1. We beat Traverse Shadow, lost to Blue-White Control. Traverse Shadow probably about as bad a matchup as Blue-White is, although Blue-White might be worse. I do think the Traverse Shadow deck isn't that bad. It was a tough matchup, and it was pretty close, I'd say. Detention Sphere did a lot of work. Like I said, the reason I run Destructive Revelry against these decks. Let's head back into it. And in the meantime, I'll pull up the list for anyone who wants to see it. I like it. Probably worth changing up a little bit with the metagame because the meta is obviously shifting like it does. Like I said earlier, might want to play around Boggles more, Bogles for those of you who are really concerned with how that's pronounced. I do believe the correct way is Bogles, and that's the only way I've ever heard anyone say it's pronounced while getting mad that it was pronounced a different way, so I'm gonna go with Bogles being right. We do have EE and Basilisk Collar. That's not the worst. I haven't played against Bogles since Collar, so that's something. Sweepers obviously good until they slap on some enchantments, and counter spells help a bit. It's a rough matchup. It's much better with Shoal, like I mentioned earlier. It has apparently been showing up more, but I haven't seen it, so who knows. Variants and stuff, am I right? We have a match. Let's go. Our opponent apparently doesn't want to play Magic right now. They'd rather wait. I don't know. I mean, doesn't really matter to me. We're on the draw. It kind of matters to me. I like when stuff just happens right away. This is a keep. We have a bunch of disruption for creature decks, which happen to be the most common kinds of decks you run into. We have a threat. We have a visions. It's worth it. Let's see what the opponent's up to. Hopefully not too much good. I want them to make it interesting, but I also enjoy when we win. You guys know what I'm saying? We probably lead on Delver. If they've got a Mana Dork or a Goblin Guide, I imagine we're just going to kill it immediately. Affinity actually doesn't even look that scary with this hand, and Affinity is definitely a tough matchup. Then again, excuse me, you don't really keep hands based on how random matchups go. Ooh! This is Domain Zoo. This is Domain Zoo. We're going to kill Nacatl immediately because Forked Bolt is going to fall off very soon. Let's grab a Steam Vents. Blue going to be really important. We don't really need double red yet. Forked Bolt here and here. Yup. Punish them for leading on the Overgrown Tomb. If that was a Temple Garden or a Stomping Ground, we wouldn't have gotten the extra damage in. They might be running Death Shadow. They're probably not, but they might be. Black, probably Thoughtseize. If it's Thoughtseize, I'm going to assume there's a Death Shadow. Alright, probably Death Shadow. It's almost certainly Tribal Zoo, but it might be the Death Shadow variant as well. I believe Jeff Hoogland actually played this recently. I believe I watched that league. It was very entertaining. It's actually what inspired me to throw this deck together. Let's, we don't need to make that bigger. I'll just pull this over. Lots of cards here that aren't being shown. It is a basically not really Temur, not really Naya. It's pretty well 4-color Zoo, Tribal Flames, Splashing Overgrown Tomb just for the Tribal Flames. In the board, some stuff for combo and big mana, cards for burn, generic good cards. I wanted to play Bloodbraid Elf too, so I am playing that every now and then in friendly leagues. They took our Lightning Bolt. We found a Hooting Mandrills though, which I think we want to slap down before they have another Thoughtseize. That unfortunately means we don't get to also play Delver, but we can play Serum Visions, which is probably worth it. Let's grab a Breeding Pool. Cast Visions. Make sure we don't tap that Breeding Pool, because that would be really awkward. I don't hate having the land. The Mana Leak might end up being good. I kind of like the Visions. What are we doing next turn? This turn, we're going to Delve the Bin, play Mandrills. Next turn, I want to play Delver, hold up Disruption. We could cast Mana Leak while still holding up Thought Scour and Dismember. I didn't know you could interact with your hand while in a scry window. That's cool. But that means we're not casting this Mana Leak next turn. We're probably just going to bottom this. I think Mana Leak's pretty well off the table since we're not casting it this turn or next turn. I'd rather play Delver than hold up Mana Leak. And I think I'd rather play the Visions too. Just find better cards. If they slam something big here and we're stuck with Mana Leak in hand, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to go ahead and not take that risk. Are they not playing anything? That's amazing. They could still have Death Shadow. So if we hit them here, we could be in a lot of trouble. We're probably doing it anyways, though. So, Tarmogoyf and another Visions. How many of these Serum Visions do we want? We probably want Visions, given that it's going to transform this Delver of Secrets. We're going to get in for 4 here, even if they have a Shadow, because we can dismember the Shadow mid-combat and just assign all our trample damage to it if we attack into it. They crack this, they go down to 5. If they have another shock, we could be in trouble, but that puts them to 3, and that's probably fine. Yeah, they didn't shock here. They don't want to go that low. Is this a Bolt for Delver? It is. That makes me a little happier to Thought Scour away the Serum Visions, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. Tarmogoyf definitely looking good. Snap Thoughtseize. Tribal Flames to take out Mandrills. We can't stop that. Shadow? Follow-up Shadow? If it's a Shadow, we probably Scour here. It's not a Shadow, which means next turn we play Goyf and Visions, probably. Or we could Scour here, hopefully hit something better than Visions. Do we have much better than Visions? Probably not. I don't think we're going to Scour here. It means we're not holding up this Dismember, most likely. But I do want to go through my deck some more. Land, not fantastic. Snapcaster Mage, I definitely don't want if I'm not keeping this land. The land actually not that bad. We get to go Nux plus something next turn. Snapcaster Mage looking pretty weak. I am going to top this. Delving away the Lightning Bolt makes Snap a lot worse. I think I want this land. And I am going to slam this. They might have Fatal Push. They might have Dismember of their own, since it looks like they're on the Death Shadow variant of Domain Zoo. They didn't shock, they didn't do anything, which is fantastic. We can go for lethal here by fetching out a mountain and going Hasty Nux, and I'm 90% sure that's the play. Do I want double green? Our graveyard isn't exactly full. We do have Thought Scour, which could improve that. I'm gonna not bother with it. I'd rather have some extra life. Let's give that haste. If they don't have removal, they are dead. They are dead. Look at Savage Knuckleblade putting in work. Alright, I definitely don't have a sideboard plan for this yet. I should really get on covering the new decks. I could get Zoo. What else? All I really had to do for Jund and the control decks was update them. I do have a plan for Lantern already. Okay, besides Zoo, there's not really that much that that's new that I don't have covered. All of these look great. Kill their stuff, gain some life. Revelry looks remarkably bad. Here's a real question. Does Blood Moon come in? I'm going to throw it over here for now. They have Thought Seizes, so if I want it, I probably want all three. I could see not wanting it on the draw, but wanting it on the play. Blood Moon seems good, but it's going to be really tempo intensive. We're probably going to do it anyways. Anger and Pyroclasm. Pyroclasm doesn't really kill any of their stuff. I don't think I like Anger either, because they're probably not running Swift Spear. Nicodle outsizes Pyroclasm most of the time. Dies to Anger, but I mean, are we going to run Anger for Nicodles and some Shadows? Chances are we're not going to hit Tarmogoyf with it. We're probably not going to hit most Shadows. Hits Bloodbraid Elf. That's a reason to run Sweepers. Catch up against Bloodbraid Elf. I don't want that either. Click seems too slow for this kind of aggro deck. I don't really want counter spells. If we're running Blood Moon, we're probably running Spreading Seas, if I'm being honest with myself. So it looks like we're going for a bit of an aggro package, and we might want these Sweepers as well to fill out the aggro package. And we also might want the Mana Denial. While I figure out what we're cutting, feel free to comment on this. I don't want Mana Leak. I don't want Curious Obsession. Spell Snare hits Tarmogoyf. And Tribal Flames. If they're running Boros Charm, it hits that. They're probably running Lightning Helix. Spell Snare looks very good. Denial hits most of those things, so I might cut one of each. Something like that. I want all of the burn spells. They're going to be dealing a lot of damage to themselves. If anything, we're going to cut this Forked Bolt, since it doesn't kill much of their stuff. Traverse the Ulvenwald, obviously great. We're not cutting Delvers, although that's probably next on the list. Probably a Thought Scour. We have to cut roughly 4 cards. Anyone have preferences on what we cut? I think it's the Sweepers. We're going to elect to just play to the board and use regular removal if they go Bloodbraid and try to run us over going wide. We could cut another Snare and another Thought Scour. Maybe one Blood Moon, sort of hedge, and another Scour. They're probably not Forked Bolt out. I'm too late to do that, but we'll try that next time. 2 lands and a lot of stuff we can cast. I like it. I'm in. They probably just take the Bolt or the Tarmogoyf immediately. They shocked and didn't cast anything. That's fine. And we drew a land? I'm pretty sure we're in Magical Christmas Land right now. I like that the aggro deck isn't doing much. I don't like that Tarmogoyf's going to die to Bolt if we elect to play it out. Bolting them doesn't do much here, so I'm going to get that tapped. Draw a Mishra's Bauble. What did I say about Goyf dying to Bolt? Why would I be so silly as to think that the great Tarmogoyf could die to a mere Lightning Bolt? What's wrong with me? What do we got on top? It's another Foothills. That makes me want to fetch. We're going to be drawing enough cards to hit the 4th land for Huntmaster sooner or later. Let's grab that basic forest, play around our Blood Moons a little bit. Goyf probably just eats a Fatal Push or a Path, but that either ramps us or puts Goyf in the bin, which means Mandrills and Nux get better. So we're going to have to fight through the removal anyways. We might as well get on it. I think after this match, I'm going to take a 2-minute break to refill my water bottle, because it's empty and I don't shut up, so my mouth ends up being pretty dry. We drew the land anyway. See? Shuffling was great. They shocked. What do we got? Bunch of creatures. Goyf. Nice. I can dig it. We can also make that Goyf extremely small. We probably want a basic island here. Cuts us off of double red, but I'm 90% sure Anger's in the sideboard. Look at me just knowing we're going to not get double red. We start on Visions. We decide what we want to do about Mandrills. We might not play the Visions just so we could have Simic Charm up, but we can't do that anyways because we don't have enough green. Bottom that. Mishra's Bauble, not the best, not the worst. I'm gonna bottom it too, excuse me. Hold up Spell Snare, because that's pretty good. Let's shrink Tarmogoyf, whilst keeping our lands in the bin, probably. Play around Delirium a little bit, not much. We also get to bolt them if we feel like it. Although we're probably not going to do that just yet. Their Tarmogoyf dies to Lightning Bolt right now, so that is absolutely something we should be paying attention to. If they cast a sorcery or something, we might just kill that Goyf. Thoughtseize. Alright, so this is going to die to Tribal Flames, but they're not going to have a board in that case. They get to Thoughtseize away our Knuckle Blade. That's probably worth it since their Tarmogoyf's going to get really good. Then again, if they take the Knuckle Blade, we get Simic Charm, which lets us run over Tarmogoyf. Decision point. Bolt Goyf, or hold on to Spell Snare just in case. Spell Snare doesn't deal with Path, so I'm inclined to just hope they don't have the... Oh, they actually only have... No, they have green there. They do have Tribal Flames for 4. I think we bolt Goyf. Anyone with an opinion that we should not bolt Goyf, you have like 10 seconds to let me know that you feel very strongly about letting Tarmogoyfs live, because we like Tarmogoyf very much on this channel. I'm a big fan of Tarmogoyf. I'ma kill it. Hopefully everybody's on board with that. Excuse me. Street Wraith is going to make me cry about this exchange, but I don't think they have it. They might be running it, but it's not that likely that it's in hand. I think it's worth it. I'm going to agree with you, Nathan. There's also the chance that they just don't have the Tribal Flames, and if they don't have a Path in that case, Mandrills is just going to wreck their day. They need to kill this before we untap thanks to Simic Charm. So I imagine if they have Path or Tribal Flames, it's coming down right now. It's Shadow. Do we swing? Does this deck play Temur Battle Rage? I'm inclined to think that they don't, because they run Tribal Flames, almost certainly Lightning Helix, maybe Boros Charm. I felt underwhelmed by Boros Charm for the few matches that I played with a similar deck, although I wasn't playing Death Shadow, Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, so my experience could be totally irrelevant, but I found Boros Charm just doesn't help you in the matchups where you need help. So I much preferred to have the Helices main instead of the 2 Boros Charms. We also have Spell Snare, which makes me not really scared of any of their 2 CMCs. I think we just swing here before doing anything, but I might just Visions. Let's Visions. Blood Moon is rather appealing. Delver of Secrets, much less so. We definitely want to pay Shock here, because we've got some stuff to cast. Let's get in here. We also have a bunch of life to work with, so I'm not scared of dying on the crackback, especially with Spell Snare in hand. I'm going to slam Tarmogoyf. And we can untap and Blood Moon them if we see fit, which seems pretty good. Yeah, I definitely like attacking here. It threatens lethal. If they have Red Source plus 2 Tribal Flames, we're in bad shape. But we get to Spell Snare one of those. If they fetch Shock, this becomes a 9/9. They Tribal Flames us. This looks like a Path to Exile, which we can't fight here. I'm going to let this resolve, and I'm not going to shuffle my deck, because I very much like that Blood Moon on top. We're actually in the unique position to, if they don't have a follow-up play, we cast Blood Moon, hold up Spell Snare, and then Simic Charm their Death Shadow on the following turn, just hoping that they don't find their basic swamp. I could see them attacking here. I think that's pretty good for them. They also died a Lightning Bolt. Oh. If they don't have Path to Exile, they're dead to Simic Charm. Second Shadow. That makes them not dead to Simic Charm. That also makes playing Blood Moon a lot worse. That's tricky. That is very tricky. We don't want to deal them any damage here. Playing Blood Moon means we lose Mandrills and go to 3, so we don't really want to do that either. We're probably dead here, but I'm going to see if we have an out. If anyone spots an out, feel free to let me know. I believe we don't want to attack. If we do attack, They almost certainly block, and then we grow Mandrills to a 7/7 and assign all 7 damage to this Death Shadow, so that they probably can't kill us with this one. Putting them to 6 makes this a 7/7, meaning we die to Kolagon's command, which I doubt they're running. We also die to a fetch land, sorry, a shock land in that case. And I don't want to be dead to a shock land. If they don't bolt, we win the game. Sorry, if they don't block, we win the game on the spot. So we know for a fact that we get to take out this one shadow, take 6, and then we hope that we top deck something absolutely amazing, but I don't know what we're drawing to there. Probably Huntmaster. Yeah, I like Huntmaster a lot in that spot. We get to hold up Spell Snare to make sure we don't die to Tribal Flames, Helix, Boros Charm, so that's good. So if we don't swing here, we're going to block. We probably Simic Charm to grow it anyways, so there's not really an advantage to that. I'm going to attack. If they don't block, we win on the spot. So I think it's worth making them block. Yep. That is a good play, opponent. In Declare blockers, we're definitely going +3/+3. We could bounce this and put them to 3, but then this is lethal, so that's really bad. +3/+3 here. Green, blue. Make sure we assign all 7 here. 0 damage remaining on our Trampler. And pass over to the opponent. We're dead to Bolt. We're dead to Bloodbraid Elf plus land. We're dead to a lot of stuff. Something don't die in this attack. What's up? Are you saying they don't die, we don't die, Mandrills doesn't die? The Shadow does die as long as we assign our damage correctly. If they have a Bolt, we're dead, but we were dead to Bolt anyways, so I don't care. Bolt, sounds good. Let's go to game 3. Alright, now I believe you said I should take Forked Bolt out, so I'm going to go ahead and listen to you. I think Thought Scour is probably worth coming in that slot. I want mostly cards that accelerate us or slow down the opponent, and I don't think the counters are going to do enough. 1 Spell Snare is probably fine. Anyone think we should have the 2nd Spell Snare instead of this Scour? I like the idea of having the velocity, so I think I'm going to run this, but we do have 2 minutes. We're obviously not going to spend the whole 2 minutes here. I don't like Leak, I don't like Deprive, I don't like Click, I don't like Revelry. Forked Bolt we just took out to make room. Grudge, bad. Pyroclasm, not great. 3rd Blood Moon, maybe. Do we want to go hard on Blood Moon? Blood Moon gets better when we have more Thought Scours, though, because it helps us to hit our land drops. Excuse me, and keep up on tempo, so I think I like that. Don't really want the 3rd Denial. 1 Snare is probably fine. We could theoretically cut a Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster Mage looks pretty good here, though. I think I want to run this. If anyone hates this within the next 10 seconds, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to click Submit. I think I like this configuration. We're going to go for it. Death Shadow, Domain Zoo. We actually don't know if they're on Bloodbraid, but I'm going to assume they're on Bloodbraid. We're going to be on the play. That's a good idea. This hand can do amazing things. I'm going to put it that way. We play this land. We crack this bauble looking at our top card. We see the top card of our deck. If it's a land, we elect to draw it, move on with our lives. If it's not a land, we shuffle. We get a Breeding Pool, cast Serum Visions. We see another card immediately. We scry to see 2 more. We draw off of bauble for the 5th card. And by the time we draw for turn on our 2nd turn and can make a land drop, we've seen a 6th card, which is a lot of cards to hit our 2nd land drop. This hand is gas, and they're on a discard deck, so I'm assuming this is a good idea. Does anyone think 6 cards deep is bad? I am going to pull up a hypergeometric calculator. I'm going to throw it over here in case anyone wants to see. So, in order to be able to cast spells, we're going to fetch out a Breeding Pool, which means we're only going to have 15 cards left in our deck. How many cards are in our deck currently? We have plenty of time to take a look at this. We have 53, and it's going to be 1 fewer. For simplicity's sake, we're going to ignore the bauble and just lump it with the rest of it. So we're going to have 52 cards in the population. Number of successes is going to be 15. Sample size, we're going to look 6 deep, and we need 1 success. Chances that X is 1 or more, meaning we hit 1 or more lands in the 6, is 88.5. That's very high. I'm going to keep this. And that's the plan. Might not be great, but it's what we're going to do. I think it's worth it. Bobble us, what do we got? Top card, Steam Vents, sounds great. Land go. And we get to hold up Stubborn Denial if that... Do we Stubborn Denial a discard spell? That could be really good. Could also be really bad. Could be really good. Well, they don't have it. So, I don't care. Nacatl, sure, that's a 2/2. Now I think I'm willing to fetch here to save some life. Although it is going to thin our deck a little bit, and I would like to hit some more land drops. I'm going to ignore Blood Moon for now and get a Breeding Pool, because being able to cast our spells is pretty important. What do we got? Blood Moon. Well then. Let's play that out, and it might just be Tarmogoyf, but we're not blocking just yet. It could be Serum Visions, but that's not fantastic. I'm going to play this Tarmogoyf. It might just die here, but that could be okay too. If it dies, we get to slam Mandrills next turn, which isn't the worst. I'd love to see a Lightning Bolt sometime soon so we can Bolt Snap Bolt some stuff. That's a place I want to be. That's probably grabbing a Watery Grave or a Blood Crypt. They want to swing here first in case we block, and then they get their Mountain and eat Goyf. I'm not interested in Goyf dying to a Wild Nacatl, so I'm not making that block. That's not something I'm interested in. Oh, hey, look, a Mountain. Suddenly they have a 3/3. How glad I am that I did not block. Path. That's actually okay. Yes. We probably want a basic island. Yeah, I want island. Debatable that we should go for forest so we can slam Blood Moon and then go for the Hooting Mandrills. But I think I want to cast Visions on this turn to find some more action, so I believe I want to go Mandrills first. That's not really action. I kind of want to top one of these just so that our Blood Moon gets better. Let's pay Shock here. We're going low on life, but we're hitting the board, and I want to hit the board. They could Tribal Flames this, but that takes most of their turn. I think next turn we just get Forest, Blood Moon, see what's up. If this is a path, we just grab our Forest, shuffle, and hope to draw something better. We're going to take another 3. The opponent is definitely in the driver's seat here. And they can fetch out a Swamp in response to Blood Moon. Oh, well, they're not going for that. Looks like they're slamming maybe a Tarmogoyf? Maybe a Shadow. It's a Goyf. That's a pretty small Goyf, actually. However, their board's a lot better than our board. Oh, yeah. Do we Bolt Snap Bolt? We Blood Moon, and then we Bolt Snap Bolt. Solved it. Figured it out. Cast that. Well, someone is going to be casting spells this game. Hopefully that someone is us. Hopefully that someone is us. They can cast Tribal Flames for 1. Very underrated, the highly coveted Tribal Flames for 1. We're going to Bolt Tarmogoyf, because that's more likely to grow out of this long before Nacatl manages to do anything along those lines. Untap, Snap Bolt probably. We do need to close the game fairly quickly because the opponent has many burn spells in their deck. So I believe Snapcaster Mage is going to be attacking at its earliest convenience. That doesn't play around Death Shadow perfectly. Do we just EE on 1? No, we don't. No, we don't. I think I want to wait until their turn to slam Snapcaster Mage. We may as well since we can. They might just go Forest, play something I want to kill. With that, We're going to cast this little guy. Good old Snapcaster Mage. Yes, I would like to target Lightning Bolt. Thank you, Magic Online. I appreciate that. Kill this. We're going to keep EE in hand just because it might be really good. This is probably killing Snapcaster Mage. Tribal Flames. Yup. X equals 1. That's fair. Prolong the game looks good for them right now. Ooh, baby. That's a doozy of a draw. Denial probably not going to do anything, but we're going to gain some life, make some dudes, and threaten to just win with Huntmaster. They need to kill this at their earliest convenience. If they don't cast a spell here, I'm going to be hootering and hollering, as they say. Just absolutely beside myself. This is a bolt. Lame. We could denial this, but it's not worth it. I'd rather save denial for when we find our eventual real threat. We are going to hit them for 2 a turn, and I am down for that. We get to snare their first Goyf. I think I am in on Blood Moon in this matchup. Pretty sure I'm a believer. Well, hello there, Mr. Tarmogoyf. Good to see you show up. Welcome to the land of the living. Your goifiness. We don't quite have lethal, but it's really close. And we're also firmly in the driver's seat at this point. Blood Moon and Bolt Snap Bolt, very good. Oh yeah, Hooting Mandrills dealt with enough of the graveyards to make their Tarmogoyf killable. That was fantastic. I like this matchup. That was fun. I'm inclined to think that maybe they're not running Bloodbraid because we didn't see it at all the whole match, but I know that some people do, and it's entirely possible that they did. And we, besides just happening to come across this player again, it's not going to do us any good. I will be back in probably 2 minutes max. I'm just going to mute the mic, and I will be right back. I should mention that we're on break, and that we're 2-1. We will be heading into the third match of this league in just a moment. You know what? The sidebar is going to look really bad, but 2-min break. I don't feel like getting rid of the Rug Delver part and then having to put it back, so I'm not going to. I will be back in a moment. Let's leave it on not that deck, because that's not what we're playing. We are playing this. And I will see you guys soon with much more water. Alright, we are back, and I'm assuming the audio is working perfectly well now. Let's see, properties, let's let the record reflect that we are not on a break, we're here to play Magic. Fantastic. Alright, shall we hop into the next match? Seems like something we'd want to do. I'm pretty happy with how that Zoo matchup went. I like it. I like it a lot. Something I like a lot about Delver. It has game against pretty much everything. Unfortunately, it's an aggro control deck and can lose to itself by drawing the wrong half of its deck. Either you find too many threats against combo, or you find too many counters against a mid-range deck that just slams their dudes and kills you, which really sucks. And I've been pretty upset about that recently, but you know what? Seeing the deck perform like it does sometimes, that makes me feel a lot better. And if I ever get tired temporarily of losing because I have too many counters, I can hop on Zoo for a little while, smash some face and come back, so that's nice. If you guys missed any part of this league and you want to see the whole thing later, it'll be up on my YouTube channel. You can just search my Twitch username, it'll come up. Technically, on YouTube, it's a space, not an underscore, but same thing, it works. I also post some other gameplay on YouTube that you may not see here. This hand looks fine. We've got some removal, some cantrips, and Traverse is kind of a land here. So I think I'm going to keep. We also have an eventual threat. The Bloodbraid Elf Zoo deck I showed just a bit ago is not going to be on stream for at least a little while because I'm still terrible with it. Faithless Looting, don't be Hollow One. Actually, Dredge might be a worse matchup game 1, so I'm not sure what I'm hoping for. Right now it could be either Street Wraith means Hollow One, and they have it, cool. If they could not Burning Inquiry away our Roast, that would be great. Lightning Bolt, not fantastic yet. We're going to lead on the Bauble. Just in case it shows us a land, it's a Breeding Pool. That's not the best land we could have. However, that lets us hold up this to Scour. That's probably worth it. We're going to end up taking extra damage this way, but we get to use our mana more efficiently, so I like that. Hollow One, not a fantastic matchup for us. They have a lot of recursive threats, very much like Dredge, and they've got stuff like this guy that just present 4/4s on turn 1. And everybody wants to face down 4/4s on turn 1. We happen to be a fair deck, so going up against 1 or more 4/4s on turn 1 does set us back very far. We're also taking 5 off of our mana, and we just took 4 off of their Hollow One. That's going to bring back Bloodghast, sure. I actually might just kill that, but they probably have more land, so that's probably not worth doing yet. We're likely better off, well, that's going to die. Never mind that Thought Scour, and I might get a basic mountain here, especially since we have that Traverse for once we want more blue sources or green sources. So I think we're going to get the mountain here, save our life total some heck, some grief. Oh, this is one of those decks where I hate counterspells. You'd think Mana Leak would be so good against this combo deck with these high casting cost creatures that even Gurmag Angler, sure, it's a delve threat, but it usually comes down turn 2, turn 3, maybe even turn 4. Mana Leak's so bad against this deck. Hollow One laughs in its face. Bloodghast, are you countering Bloodghast? You're probably not countering Bloodghast. Not if you're sane. Let's kill Hollow One. Go over to them. We can't slam Nux next turn unless we draw a land. Fortunately, any land does it, so that's nice. We can... What are our options here? We Traverse. We get something good. I don't really want to bolt that Bloodghast. Not a very good use of Lightning Bolt. I would much rather get a Fatty down if I can. Curious Obsession, kind of good in this matchup once you resolve something good. I am going to traverse out... Do we have 5 card types? We have 5 card types. Okay. Tarmogoyf is really good against this deck. And if we had another land, I would get this without hesitation. I think we get it anyways, instead of getting a land, going Thought Scour, Bolt, and then slamming Nux. I'm going to get Tarmogoyf. Probably bolt something on their turn. Maybe that Bloodghast just to save us a little bit of life. Might be worth it, might not be worth it. I don't know. I do want to use my mana because we're not guaranteed to draw land. And if we do draw land, we probably want to go Goyf plus Scour. I'd love to see a Flameblade Adept here. That'd be great. Something I can profitably bolt. I think we bolt this Bloodghast anyways because they might not have the land. They didn't play it last turn, which would have given them the option to Faithless Looting. Last turn, I don't believe they did anything. We roasted their Hollow One after killing this on their end step. Then we traversed out a Tarmogoyf. No, that's leading into their turn. We roasted, it went to them, and I believe they just hit us and passed. And I think giving up a Bloodghast recursion is worth casting Faithless Looting. So I'm going to hope they don't have a land. They might anyways, but this saves us life, and we might not have a chance to bolt. Kept Goyf, kept Tarmogoyf. And they discarded a Hollow One. They had another Hollow One. There might still be justice in the world. Might still be justice. Mandrills. We can't cast both. This is going to come down tapped because I don't want to play out this yet. They might have a Fatal Push. That would make me very sad. We're going to play that tapped. Soon enough, we are going to slap Curious Obsession on something. I do like the idea of being able to hold up Mana Leak. Is that a Fatal Push? That'll suck. We're going to go very low. Very, very low. It's a bolt to the face. That's scary. They might just be using their mana, but that is straight up scary. Flamewake Phoenix also going to be a problem. We need to put them on a clock, and we need to put them on a clock now. We're dead in 4, including this turn. Tarmogoyf is attacking. I think that much is easy. What do we got? What do we got? Delver. Not great. Goyf's going to attack because we need them dead. I don't care if we have to trade Mandrills with Hollow One. It's worth it if this Tarmogoyf can put on a clock. We can slam Mandrills, hold up Mana Leak. We can play Mandrills plus Delver, hold up all of nothing. That might actually be the superior play. We're not dead to Lightning Bolt, which I like. I do want to block this. If they take out both of our creatures, we're dead to just attacks. I think I want to play both of these. Mana Leak not looking very good. How good's our graveyard for Goyf? Artifact, land, tribal, instant, sorcery, no creatures. So we make this a 5/6 on our own. I think I want a Curious Obsession next turn. Yeah, that seems better. Alright, we're going to pretend we have a Lightning Bolt. We also need to make sure Goyf is good, though. Now, they can delve their own graveyard if they hit Gurmag. So I don't want to rely too heavily on theirs. But I also don't want to not rely too heavily on theirs. Dismember's really bad at this point. Thought Scour can go. Artifact, and we can get rid of Lightning Bolt and just rely on Tarfire for instant. That's fine. By playing both of these creatures, we play around something like Big Game Hunter. I guess they need a land or a discard outlet for Big Game Hunter, but it could take out Mandrills and then we're dead. The reason I didn't tap this mountain to leave the Lightning Bolt in the bin is I want to bluff that we have it. It's not a great play, but I think it's marginally better than leaving the Bolt in the bin. Lightning Bolt in the bin, better if we top deck Snapcaster Mage and are able to kill Flamewake Phoenix, especially if we end up dealing with this Hollow One. That would be fantastic. If they have a Fatal Push, I imagine Goyf's dead, but they didn't push it last turn. If they have a land, Bloodghast comes back, and then Bolt is lethal. Unless we decide to chump Bloodghast with Delver. I say chump. Gotta run MNES MTG, keep it up. Oh, you're leaving. I didn't understand that for a second. See you next time. You can catch the rest on YouTube if you want to see the rest. I plan on streaming at this time every week, so feel free to come by next week as well, and any week after that if you like. Thanks for stopping by, Lieberger. Let's see what they're up to. We're still on our end step, so either they're AFK or they are quite deep in the tank. We're dead to double bolt. We're dead to 1 lightning bolt plus any amount of damage. Bolt on Delver. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. So they think that we're the beatdown. Goblin lore. We can't counter that because we tapped out for that Delver. Main deck Blood Moon. I didn't know they actually main decked that. I thought that just came in the board. We're definitely playing around it in the next game. I like that they're tapped out. If they had a land, they would have played it already. We're dead to this attack, so there's no way we're not blocking the hollow one. That's just ridiculous. We have nothing to do, so we're going to untap. Mishra's Bauble. I definitely want to cast it. I want to know what I'm going to draw so I can figure out how much mana I want to tap here. We're probably just playing Obsession on Goyf. We're definitely just playing Obsession on Goyf. We could play Nux. No, Goyf is lethal next turn regardlessly. And we might just be able to haste out a Nux next turn. They have a Swamp. They're getting Bloodghast back. That makes me really happy I looked at their top card. We can't Obsession, right? We have to attack and play Nux so that we don't just die to Bloodghast. That's the only out. Unless we top deck a Lightning Bolt. That would be very good. We absolutely attack here. That's the easy part. We're not going to hold up Mana Leak because we're dead on board. Holding up Mana Leak kind of bad when you're dead on board. Let's play Nux and Dream. What do we got, Bobble? What do we got? We're dead to a lot of cards. Island. That would have been nice earlier. Would have been nice earlier. We dead, opponent? You got this? We going to the next game? Bloodghast, sure. Neither of their creatures can block, so they're definitely swinging with both. Flamewake Phoenix definitely doesn't give them the option. They didn't attack with Bloodghast. That seems terrible. Unless they just have a bolt and we're super dead. I'm going to assume that's the case. Are they letting us untap? I don't know what's going on. Yeah, we're dead. They're paying costs. Cobrew, nice. Nice. Unfortunately, since Bobble told us about that swamp, we knew this would be coming back with haste. Oh, this doesn't have haste anymore because they don't have an opponent. I was very confused for a moment. Let's head to the sideboard. I have a plan for this. I don't know how good it is. It involves boarding in cards that kill Hollow One, because that comes down way sooner than it should. And with way more reliability. Artifact Destruction in. Sweepers in. Anger of the Gods, obviously the superior sweeper here, but Pyroclasm is a decent tempo play. And I want Basilisk Collar because I am in for the life gain. What are we going to cut? It happens to be a lot of counterspells. 2 Mana Leaks, 2 Spell Snares, and 1 of the stubs. Anger. Anger's interesting in this deck because it only deals with the recursive threats, but man does it deal with them. I'm going to keep Curious Obsession because this is the kind of deck you want to clock very hard. Snapcaster Mage should help us hit our removal enough to survive. I don't like Pyroclasm, but it can clean up the board a little bit. It's mostly because of not Flamewake Phoenix, Flameblade Adept. Flameblade Adept is a much better reason to board in Pyroclasm than Phoenix and Bloodghast, but it can still clean them up for at least a little bit. So it's not the worst in that respect. I don't hate Obsession. We are going to want to play around Blood Moon, so that's something we're going to have to think about going forward. I like cutting a bunch of counters in this matchup because they just hit the board too hard, too fast for counters to be good. That Mana Leak was really bad. We'll be on the play. That hand is a keep. I don't like it that much. I'm almost considering holding up Stubborn Denial instead of using Visions. I am going to do that. Thought Scour settles the decision for me. We're going to lead on Misty probably, so we can grab a basic island. Go to the opponent. If they go for turn 1 Faithless Looting, we're going to denial it. If it's a turn 1 Flameblade Adept, we're going to get a Steam Vents and bolt it. If it's nothing, we're going to scour ourselves. Possibly with a basic island, I'm not sure. Street Wraith, sure. If they just have 3 Street Wraiths, we can't stop a hollow one, but what are you going to do if they have 3 Street Wraiths? Alright. We have a lot of blue cards, so I feel like we want the basic island over the Steam Vents. Yeah, I'm doing that. Blood Moon is going to hit our green a lot harder, and green's really important in this matchup. Not too bad hand. I like it. Let's counter that. The reason I like Denial much more than the other counters against this deck is it can stop a looting on the play, it can stop Goblin Lore on the draw, and it can counter their top deck good spells when we have a fatty in play. Another island makes me almost want to play that. We could just get Stomping Ground and then go Visions. I think we're going to let them resolve and keep a creature for a little while. I shouldn't have played the island right away. That was a misplay. I'm actually going to bottom both of these because we have a lot of disruption and no threats. I might hold off on the Bauble in case they board it in Thoughtseize. We'll use the Bauble on their turn. We could also use the Bauble to Scour Scry. We did bottom 2 cards, so we could check if the next one's good. That's something. Don't hate that line. Don't love it. Basic Swamp for the opponent. What do we got? Goblin Lore. We can't stop that. They discarded a hollow one, and they didn't play anything, so that's great. Let's take a look at what they're going to draw. Bloodghast. Scour us. We milled a Mandrills, which sucks. We found Delver plus Obsession. We're not going to put Obsession on the Delver right away, but we might do it in just a little while. I want to play out the Foothills just in case they go turn 3 Blood Moon. If they just play out a creature, I'm going to be a little sad, but I'm probably still going to use this as my red source. We might want to play around Anger of the Gods, but we also might not need to. So I'm not sure if I want to give up on playing around Blood Moon to get a Stomping Ground and just ignore and play more around Anger of the Gods. The upside to getting a Stomping Ground is we get to kill this immediately. Yeah, this is the kind of matchup where I like Obsession. Although I'm going to be very sad if they Fatal Push us in response to it. But we still probably just throw it on the Delver. I guess it depends on what we draw. Oh, that's good. I missed that it grows Delver past Pyroclasm. That is great. Alright, do we want to kill Flameblade Adept immediately? I do like that, but I don't think I'm going to. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. Yeah, that also requires Delver to transform. Wooded Foothills. Okay. We can fetch that away. Yeah, we probably want to fetch that away. I'll grab a basic forest here. I think the Delver Scry is better. Get the forest. Make sure we're playing around Blood Moon. We draw a card. It's a Misty, so that didn't matter that much. We probably want to bolt this at our earliest convenience, but we don't have to do it yet. It can block. Yeah, we should just kill that. Now, Curious Obsession is either going to be wicked, in that we get to draw a card and Delver hits in for an extra point of damage, or they're going to push our Delver and make it look really bad. One of the two. I think you play it out here, because if they push Delver, we're probably in a decent spot just as soon as we find a threat. Are they taking this? They took it. They took it. Let's draw a card. It's a Tarfire. That's not fantastic. Can I play this? I already played a land. Let's go to the opponent. So, we're covered for Blood Moon. We are covered for Anger. This is the kind of spot where I like Obsession. We got our 1-for-1 out of it, and it did an extra point of damage. So far, it's been a bad cantrip. We paid 1 blue, a single blue mana, and we drew a card off of it. There was some risk in it, but I do think you play it at that point. This could just be Delver dying. Maybe it's looting. They could flashback looting. I believe they drew this Bloodghast. I'm actually not sure. They have a lot of cards. They have a lot of cards. We don't have quite as many cards. What's the opponent up to? They have a land. Oh, they're splashing green. This is either for Ancient Grudge, excuse me, or they might have Vengevine. Although I think some of the Vengevine decks don't bother even playing green. They discarded Bloodghast. Those are going to come back. At least they don't have haste. And you know what? We might Pyroclasm them away. And that would be quite nice. Let's see if Delver can transform. Tapped? Tapped. Play it tapped. They didn't play it tapped. That makes me feel a lot less safe. Looks like a good chance that they found some spot removal. Could be an angler. That'd be bad. That would be bad. Is that worse than spot removal for us? Debatably. It looks like an angler. It's an angler. We have outs. That's fine. Land, instant, sorcery, artifact, creature. So we do have 5-6 Goyfs in the deck. If Delver transforms, we're going to pull the trigger on the Pyroclasm because these don't have haste. Come on, Delver. It's a Scour. What? Let's do the thing. Do we Pyroclasm before Thought Scouring before combat? I like Scour pre-combat. Gives us more options. Do we Scour before playing Misty? We might mill our 2 other red sources, which would suck, but that's really unlikely. We didn't mill either of them, which is very nice. Very, very nice. Nothing can block Delver, so we may as well attack before we Pyroclasm. 4 damage a turn is a pretty nice clock. I would love to draw a card. Mandrills. So we get to Hooting Mandrills. We're going to Pyroclasm here. By the way, thanks for noticing the line that I am about to take. I appreciate it. Let's clean up the board. We're going to slam Mandrills, and we can go 2 burn spells next turn. I don't think they can attack with this Angler. Pyro and Bolt. Oh, we could. Yeah, you're probably smarter than I am. I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking save Bolt for face, but your line's probably way better. 1 Scour. We probably have a lot of creatures in here, right? 2, so we can delve 1. Thought Scour, 2 Visions. Fantastic. Let's get the Stomping Ground because your line is way better than my line. Kill Angler. I gotta say, I like Bolting Face here, though. I believe killing Angler is much better than holding the Bolt to go face, but I really like Bolting Face. That went down quite beautifully. Curious Obsession doing work. Doing the Lord's work. Our opponent's username is Sneaky Fish, and they're running Gurmag Angler, aka Zombie Fish. So that's kind of neat. They could also just be a Merfolk player. Or maybe they just like that name. I don't know. We're about even on time, so we're doing fine for that. The opponent's in the tank again. I'm going to knock on wood. I think we have this. Bloodghasts came back. They don't have haste. They can't block. If they bolt face, they can get in with the Bloodghasts, but that doesn't seem great. I think you'd rather bolt this. They can co-brew face, take our Tarfire that they don't know about yet. That could be good. What do we got here? Probably not a Blood Moon. It's a Goblin Lore. They didn't discard any hollow ones. They discarded a Fatal Push, which I'm ecstatic about. I'm assuming they just drew that because I think if you have Fatal Push in hand against that aberration, you're casting it before the Goblin Lore, just in case. 2 Tarfires. They block this. They take 2 off of Mandrills. They bolt this. So it's 2 plus another 2. We don't have to Tarfire yet, because Tarfiring Flameblade Adept does the same damage as Tarfiring Face. So I'm going to see if we connect and just kill them. Cool. They are hoping that we just don't have a burn spell, which is fair. I think they really need to hope to be aggressive here to come back from this. We're in a very good spot. Tarfire them, and we're 1-1 in match 4 of this league against Black-Red Hollow One, hoping to take it. 2-1 in the league thus far. Do we change anything being on the draw? Maybe Snapcaster Mage comes out? Oh! I don't like Simic Charm against this deck. I guess I keep it anyways because we have so many cards I don't like. But I think this is a little slow. I would much prefer if this were a Vapor Snag in this matchup. It's okay, but I would much prefer Vapor Snag. Far more mana efficient. Alright, is there anything better than Snapcaster Mage here? At first, this looks like a Huntmaster matchup, but they have enough recursive threats that Huntmaster just isn't very good. They also can come down way too hard, way too fast for us to survive with a Huntmaster or two in hand. Still don't like these. Denial can stay out. Leak. Spreading Seas is something I've considered a little bit, but I think it's not good enough. Does anyone like Spreading Seas more than Snapcaster Mage? I think Snapcaster Mage is just superior. EE can hit Flameblade Adepts and temporarily take out Bloodghasts and Phoenixes. Don't like that. Click dies to too much stuff, I think, and they're too much of an aggro deck to want that. Blood Moon's bad. So it's basically Spreading Seas versus Snapcaster Mage. I'm going to keep Snapcaster Mage and run this. We're on the draw now. Hopefully we can pull this off. Alright. Well, we have a Tarmogoyf, and that's a start. The opponent could Burning Inquiry us and really do a number to this hand. I think that's just a chance you take. We have a lot of good stuff in this hand. Does anyone think we should mulligan the turn 2 Goyf plus Roast off of Misty, traverse out a land? I think this is a keep. If anyone in the next 10 seconds thinks it's really bad and thinks that our average 6 is better, I'm willing to listen to reason, but I think this is where we want to be right now. The main reason to ditch this hand, I think, is Burning Inquiry, or it just being a little too slow. But I think turn 2 Roast probably going to be fine as far as speed goes. And mulliganing to 6 makes Burning Inquiry look very good too. Snap Keep. Well, I'm on the fence, so I'm going to take your confidence as a sign that I should keep this hand. Black Cleave Cliffs. What do we got? Burning Inquiry. They took our land. And the Traverse. Well, that sucks. What are you going to do? Sometimes that happens. That's variance for you. Hopefully they don't just have hollow ones, because that's a really good way to punish us. Is that even punishment? I mean, and we drew a land and lost it. That's tilt, right? That just screams tilt. I think we ditch this Obsession because we're very far from using it. Oh, that sucks. Our first land could have been to use this Traverse, which might have gotten us back into this game. As is, we have nothing to do for 1 mana, so we're waiting to hit 2 land drops in our 17 land deck that already lost 2 lands. Burning Inquiry's stupid. Oh, that sucks. What are you gonna do? I don't want to jinx it, but I have a feeling we lost this match. I do think that was a keep. And they got to discard a Bloodghast? Come on. That's one of the things I don't like about this deck. It's variance.deck. Burning Inquiry. They found us a land. They also binned Hooting Mandrills, which would have been a really good turn 1 play. So there's that. Alright. They have a lot of power on the board. A lot of power indeed. They didn't choose to Madness this into play, which is interesting. 2 lands. We're gonna get there. There's a chance that we want to Stubborn Denial, so I'm gonna run this again. Let's just throw out the Misty here. Alright. Tarmogoyf is really big. It also dies to a lot of stuff. Don't know if we Roast first or Slam the Goyf first, but that's not a decision we have to make yet. We're gonna start by taking 6, and see if we can claw our way back into this. They've got Goblin Lore, they've got Burning Inquiry, they're hoping to just manage to find a bunch of hollow ones early on. Just kind of sucks. It just kind of sucks. I'm gonna fetch. We definitely want to kill something. Or slam Tarmogoyf. Double green, double red. I think double red's better. If they have a Blood Moon, we're just so far out of the... Blood Moon is a really good reason to lead on the Tarmogoyf. Blood Moon is a really good reason to lead on that Tarmogoyf. They don't have a Phoenix in the bin yet. We have 2 answers to the Hollow One now. So I think we're going to lead on Revelry to kill it. Also makes me almost not want to block Hollow One just so that Goyf doesn't die to Lightning Bolt. There is an instant in the bin. Do they just have push? They have push. What are you going to do? We'll keep trying. One of these days. We're going to take 8, go to 3. We're dead to Bolt. So maybe we should have taken the safer line of just killing something. That's worse against Blood Moon. Worse against a lot of stuff. I believe we're actually just dead. Don't think there's anything we could possibly draw that gets us out of this. Savage Knuckleblade least of all. Alright, so we're going to play Goyf or Revelry or Roast, and we're going to die. Well, that was just a non-game. We did have a decision where we could have killed this instead of playing Goyf. What happens if we do that? We kill Hollow One. We don't have Goyf. We take 4. We go to 7. If they have Blood Moon, we're in serious trouble. But at least we get to Pyroclasm, maybe eventually Anger. Do you guys think we should have led on the Roast? I guess you would lead on Revelry in that case. But do you guys think the EV for going with Revelry instead of Goyf was higher? I know for this particular game, slamming the Tarmogoyf ended up very bad because they just had the push. And now we're at 3 and super duper dead. But does anyone think, and if you're watching this on YouTube, please leave me a comment with your opinion. Does anyone think we should have gone with the Revelry instead of the Goyf here? Because I am interested in increasing my win percentage against this deck. Also, what do we kill here? Because we have to kill something. We're not killing things. So, slam Goyf, kill Hollow One, kill Bloodghast. What dies? I'm going to leave Bloodghast alone because those might come back. I want to kill this. Doing better than last time already. Oh, hey, Baggy Trousers. Yeah, we're actually 2-1 currently. About to be 2-2. Unfortunately, Black-Red Hollow One doing Black-Red Hollow One things. They Burning Inquiry away our only land and our Traverse and the land that Burning Inquiry drew us. And that sucked. That sucked a lot. Anyways, we're dead. At least we got to kill that pesky Hollow One. We're going to go to -3, but that's okay. Let's head into the next match for all of the proverbial marbles. Hopefully we can do some good stuff. I think that match almost went better than my previous matches against Hollow One, just because if you think about what happened there, we basically got Burning Inquiry out of the game, and we actually almost came back from that, which is awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and say we actually did well against Black-Red Hollow One, even though we totally got cheated out of playing Magic there. To be fair, the previous match we played, we Blood Mooned somebody out of the game, and the match before that, we also... Was it the match before? Yeah, it was the match before that we also Blood Mooned somebody out of the game. And I don't remember if in match 1 we Blood Mooned somebody out of the game, but those Blood Moons take finesse, and Burning Inquiry does not have that finesse. So I'm going to stick to my guns here. We did good, team. We did good. Looking at heading into match 5, let's head back to the deck. And, of course, as soon as I decide to go back to the deck. Yeah, I know, we Blood Mooned some people, but you know what? They were on less than fair stuff, too. So I don't feel that bad about it. Blue-White took out our mana, and then we took out their mana the next game. So I don't feel bad about that trade. This hand isn't great. This hand is a mulligan. This hand is a mulligan. Against a discard or mid-range deck, Nux goes down and we're left with nothing in the tank. Against an aggro deck, we're just far too slow. Against big mana, we're also probably far too slow. I'm going to take a mulligan. That's a little better. That's fantastic. And we're on the draw. Bam. Dark Slick Shores, Ghoul Caller's Bell. Aw, they knew we kept. Good on them. That's going to make Serum Visions really bad. So I'm just going to play Delver. They will hopefully make Hooting Mandrills very good, but we have to find a land for that first. We are playing against Lantern. Okay. Full disclosure. Lantern is probably going to be a very boring matchup. So if you guys are not down to watch this, I recommend you leave immediately. On the other hand, I believe that my Lantern matchup is actually pretty decent. We could scour them here to make sure we draw that island, and I think that's worth it. Oh, we turned over Abrupt Decay and Inventor's Fair. That's awesome. We get to play out another Delver. We're not holding up Spell Snare, but I don't think Spell Snare is actually that good against Lantern. Definitely doesn't hit Abrupt Decay. I don't want a Visions here, just because the opponent has a Ghoul Caller's Bell. I guess we could play some mind games with them, topping a bad card and having a decent card under it, but I don't really like it. I'd rather play the Delvers. They went land pass. That's fantastic. You know what's kind of funny? We lost, I think, around 3 viewers after this matchup showed up. Just in case anyone was wondering how much people dislike Lantern. And we only had 5 at the time when the match started, so I'd say that's a pretty big leave rate. We're going to get in for 6. Traverse not looking to be good. We are going to use this Visions just because it draws us cards. Hopefully we draw into a Stubborn Denial to counter an Ensnaring Bridge. Land! Oh yeah. Both of these are going to be pretty bad. I think we want to play this. We might even slam Hooting Mandrills. We obviously slam Hooting Mandrills. Means it gets to attack next turn. Basic Forest. Lantern definitely does not run Blood Moon. I don't know if Lantern runs much Mana Denial. I'm going to get the basic. They might try to Pyrite Spellbomb us out of the game. That's a possible win con they're running. We also have 10 power. They're going to continue milling Snuff. They lost a bridge. Ba-boom. Obviously, the EV on milling there is perfectly fine because they don't know what's on top of their deck. But I will just be happy that they lost their Ensnaring Bridge. If they slam a bridge now, they take 10, go to 3, and Bolt is lethal. And that's not bad. I definitely dislike having Roast in my hand against this deck. Looks really bad. We might end up traversing out a Snapcaster Mage eventually, and that's cool. Ensnaring Bridge, sure. If they play something off of the Opal, Mandrills doesn't get to swing. We can't snare that. That's going to resolve. I believe they played a land. Oh, Bauble. Nice. Bauble's a good hit. Is that what they took? Bauble is what they took. That means Mandrills doesn't get to swing. That's very good for the opponent. Very good for the opponent. Good on them. I wouldn't hate having a way to make them draw a card here. Snapcaster Mage. Not great yet. We are going to swing. Unlikely we're getting any more combat damage through here. We don't have a main deck answer to bridge. So this could get very boring. Very, very boring. They also have slightly fewer cards in their deck than we do. They don't have a Lantern yet, which I like. This looks like a whir. The fact that they started going for it and then stopped makes me think even more that it's a whir of invention. I imagine they want to do it before I attack to get the card out of their hand. It's probably just a whir for 1. This has X equals 1. Yeah, they're going to get a Lantern. We can't interact with this. Very unfortunate. We're not finding denials or leaks right now. Definitely what we want over Snare. They're going to make us mill that, but we're going to get to flash it back with Snapcaster Mage. So there's that. Ooh, Forked Bolt. We get to draw that. I'm not going to cast the Forked Bolt yet because on their turn, I want to go Snap Bolt. I'm going to grab a piece of paper so that we can keep track of their hand. They just drew an Academy Ruins. Thoughtseize on top of the deck. I actually don't hate them Thoughtseizing me soon. Did they play the Ruins? They did. Don't have to write anything. Fantastic. Go to us. Snapcaster Mage gonna enter the battlefield real quick. might be able to get in for 2, which is something I like a lot. If Snapcaster Mage can get in for 2 damage, that's fantastic. Snap Trigger's going to resolve. Bolt upstairs in 5. There we go. Had to wait on the opponent. Do they run counterspells? I don't think they do. They could whir out something for Hexproof. Aw, do they just have another whir? They have another whir. That's lame. I think we need to scoop here. That's a lot of costs. Whir of Invention X equals 4. They're going to get what? Witchbane Orb? Witchbane Orb. They have Hexproof. Burn Plan's offline. They only have 1 card left in hand, so the attack plan's offline. So we're actually going to scoop, I think. One thing we could do is keep playing so that we get to see more cards in their deck. Unfortunately, that also lets them see more cards in our deck because of the Lantern, so I'm not in for that. We do get to be on the play against Lantern here, and we're boarding in a bunch of cards. Artifact Hate. Let's do it. Blow up some bridges. Deprive. Counter bridges. Counter Whir of Invention. Vendilion Click. Take said cards out of their hand. Ceremonious Rejection. Counter the artifacts. Does not counter Whir. 2 Blood Moons. Turn off a lot of their mana. Doesn't turn off everything, but it turns off some stuff. Lantern's one of the big reasons you could run an Echoing Truth in the main deck, just so that you have an out to Ensnaring Bridge. That probably takes the Simic Charm slot. I'm not sure if it's worth it. It might be. Some people run it. It could be good. I don't know. I don't know if Lantern's popular enough to be worth it. It did win the Pro Tour, so it probably gained a lot of popularity. 2 Blood Moons, just because it's not always the best. Spreading Seas, also able to turn off things like Inventor's Fair. Engineered Explosives, blow up some artifacts. And the 2 Huntmasters, because if they don't have Witchbane Orb out, that wins through a bridge. What are we cutting? Also a lot of stuff. Knuckleblade is slow. Dismember, Roast, we're not expecting creatures. I'm going to cut 2 Serum Visions because Scrying isn't very good against them, even though it helps us find lands. The Lantern deck often wants to give you lands, so I'm okay with that. Forked Bolt going to come out. I should move this up. What else we got? Forked Bolt, 2 Lightning Bolts. You don't need that many burn spells post-board. I want some. I don't want too many. Roast and Dismember I already cut. We're going to drop Simic Charm because it does mostly nothing, and the 2 Spell Snares because those also do mostly nothing. I think this is good. There's an argument for Simic Charm because it stops things like Abrupt Decay, but I think it's just not very good here. We're going to run this. We'll be on the play. And yeah, fine. This hand looks perfectly serviceable. They're probably going to mill us to help Hooting Mandrills out. We have some fetch lands to help Hooting Mandrills out. We have Blood Moon mana. We have Denial if we so choose. We've got Grudge. We've got EE. We have a lot of interaction, and soon enough we'll have a clock. EE is so great here. If they have multiple bridges but they don't have a Welding Jar, and I guess now if they don't have a Whir of Invention in hand, because that's a thing too, I probably just want to put fetches in the graveyard. You can just EE all of the Ensnaring Bridges at once. Playing out redundant Ensnaring Bridges is a big way that Lantern Welding Jar. Is that worth denialing? Probably not. Does anyone think we should denial this? I think denial's probably better than this. I'm going to keep denial in hand. Inquisition either takes denial or something really good, so I think I like countering that. Let's grab a basic here. I want Blood Moon mana. Our mana base is not going to be very greedy. Welding Jar is very good, but we also have Ancient Grudge here. And I think Denial can just counter whatever it is beforehand. Denial also happens to counter... I'll get there. I'm going to remember its name, don't worry. Counters Whir of Invention. Counters Whir of Invention. Good upside. Tendo Ice Bridge into Lantern. I might blow that up. We have a Tarmogoyf on top. They might be drawing Ancient Stirring soon. Thoughtseize us. If they Thoughtseize plus shuffle away our deck, I'm going to be pretty sad. Sorry, shuffle away our Tarmogoyf. I'm going to let this resolve, though. They can take out the first half of the Ancient Grudge or the Mandrills. I imagine those are the best hits. Revelry a little harder on the mana. EE not the best. If they don't take Mandrills, we can slam Mandrills, which is cool. I also don't hate that the opponent takes 2 damage off of this. They chose EE. That's respectable. Do we just draw and play out the Tarmogoyf? Probably. We're going to draw and play out the Tarmogoyf. They might just have something really good here, like an Engineered Explosives. Not an Engineered Explosives. An Ensnaring Bridge. But I think this is perfectly fine. Oh! Thoughtscour decided to stay with us. Good on it. We can blow up 3 artifacts. Or rather, we have the chance to blow up an artifact 3 times, which should help us get past the Welding Jar. They don't have Mill Rocks yet. They drew Stirrings, but they're probably going to cast that immediately. Then again, that gets rid of the bridge, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. I'm thinking of Gemstone Mine. Ensnaring Bridge going to get cast. That's the reason I didn't bother writing it down. I wouldn't mind them just missing a bunch of land drops either. That's perfectly acceptable. They found Codex Shredder and they have a land on top. Codex Shredder going to come down here. I could see them milling away our Thoughtscour because instant speed draw. Very good against Lantern. Lightning Bolt, I mean, that's okay. I'm not ecstatic to see it. I'm probably going to slam Hooting Mandrills. We really need to get our clock down as quickly as we can. Misty Rainforest, not something I'm really happy to see. I want to get as much damage as I can in before the Ensnaring Bridges start to stick. We can tap as much as we want. I think I want to make Goyf as good as it can be, so I probably want to leave Artifact in the bin, maybe even land. We just tap out. We're definitely tapping these 2, because I want to tap more than Forest, and once we tap more than Forest, Ancient Grudge and Revelry are offline, so it's either Delve 3 or Delve 4 and cast Lightning Bolt. 1, 2, 3, 4. Delving 4 leaves only 1 card in the bin. I want to delve all 3. Chances are we're going to have plenty of mana. I think we leave Artifact and Instant. Yeah, they're giving us a land. That's very good. They either give us a land or they mill the land. So land going to end up in the graveyard. Glimmer Void with Inventor's Fair on top. Inventor's Fair going to be a pain. Grafdigger's Cage going to be very good against our Ancient Grudge. Also good against Snapcaster Mage. Is this a whir? This smells... Oh, it's a Cobrew. Nice. That is very good. They're dealing with our artifact destruction very well. I actually wouldn't be that surprised to see them mill their Inventor's Fair in an effort to find Ensnaring Bridge here. We're going to draw Misty Rainforest. Play that out. We're going to swing. We're also going to crack this fetch before damage so that we swing for 8 here. I would love to put a land in the bin. We probably just want another green-red source. They can regenerate with this Welding Jar, but Revelry still deals 2 right now. So if they don't find a bridge right now, and as you can see they're milling themselves, they found bridge. Ah, that's annoying. That is very annoying. Okay. They're going to resolve bridge. We're not going to be able to attack. We're not out of it, though. We have Snapcaster Mage on top. They don't have to get rid of that. We have 5 damage in hand, though. Snapcaster Mage is actually quite atrocious, so I wouldn't be surprised if they let us keep that. Blood Moon, actually pretty good against them here. Before they have a chance to get Whir, I think I want to Bolt Face. Yeah, that was pretty gross. Having bridge directly underneath that Inventor's Fair was rather gross. Of course, the opponent made the right play there, so good for them. But yeah, that was kind of disgusting. I believe we're actually out of artifact destruction. They're milling Blood Moon. So this is pretty much, we have to find enough burn before they find Whir or Witchbane Orb. Rejection going to help a little bit. I don't hate them letting me draw that. As far as my perspective goes, I don't think they should let us draw that. Do we just go for this Revelry? We probably want to do it. We also probably just do it now. This at least gets an artifact off the table. Makes Whir ever so slightly worse. Yep, that's fine. One regeneration shield, indeed. Go to the opponent. We're going to hold up Ceremonious Rejection. This isn't looking good for us, but we lost game 1, so we're not scooping. We also still have quite a few outs. Ooh, they don't want the second bridge. They're waiting on Witchbane Orb. Very neat. Very, very neat. Once they hit Witchbane Orb, I think we just lose. We don't have a way of bouncing that Grafdigger's Cage. We also need to hit a lot of outs in succession. I think we're in a bad spot here. I think we're in a gross spot here. We are very unlikely to win this, but we're going to try. Do I have other artifact outs in my sideboard? They're milling themselves. We can also hope they just mill out before we do, but that's not happening. What do we have? Other things that deal with artifacts, we just don't. We have the 3. Just the 3 pieces of onboard artifact hate, so unfortunately, the opponent had what they needed. That's all there really is to say here. I don't think they want to cast that Thoughtseize. Yeah, I like milling that. I like milling that a lot. Chances are we just lost. There is a chance we have 3 lightning bolts on top of our deck in a row. That still probably doesn't do the trick, but it might. So we're not dead. And if we're not dead, we're not scooping. I apologize to anyone who was actually looking for entertainment today. Oh, Traverse gives us a shuffle. It's a sorcery speed shuffle. Nah, Nux can't attack. God dang it. God dang it. This is looking very bad. Should we run a 4th artifact destruction spell? That seems so unnecessary. I'm not sure what we can do or what we should do. I'm not going to reveal that just in case they end up with an extra card in hand at some point. All of these are bad. That sucks. That sucks a lot. They discarded away 2 of our artifact destruction effects. And they had the welding jar for the 3rd. And they had Grafdigger's Cage to keep us off the second half of Ancient Grudge. And this Snapcaster Mage. I'm going to assume the opponent just drew exactly what they needed. Which, to my opponent's credit, isn't to say that there's anything wrong with that, because we draw exactly what we need sometimes. But man, that was pretty lucky. And with 3 Millrocks in a row, I believe we're just completely out of outs. But the opponent does have to kill us. If anyone wants to leave, I completely understand. We can Mana Leak this Whir. X equals 3. I don't know what they get, but I want to counter it. Don't know what they get, but I want to counter it. If they're going to mess with our stuff, we're going to mess with their stuff. Oh, we should also be revealing these cards that don't transform Delver, just so that our Lantern opponent gets extra windows in their face. That's something I like doing, especially in paper, where you get to go, you know about this creature? I have this creature I'm about to draw. It's just something I like to do. The opponent with the Ghoul Caller's Bell Technically, we should maybe counter that just in case we have a bunch of good things on top of the deck. Definitely revealing that island. Very important that the opponent knows we have an island. Should we start playing out these creatures? Do we have anything better to do? We have a denial on top. That's actually something they might consider countering. Tarmogoyf's a 6/7. That's something to celebrate. Yeah, our opponent is definitely playing this well. To be fair, I'm of the opinion that it's not actually all that hard to play Lantern with a certain degree of proficiency, because you just mill the cards that you care about, and then on the end step you mill more aggressively. That's getting milled. I believe both traverses are gone. They are. Spreading Seas draws us a card, so that's dangerous for them to let us keep. I'm going to reveal that. I'm also going to draw it. Land, not great, but the land gives us a shuffle effect. I actually kind of wish this drew the opponent a card. Which of these is the best? None of these are actually that good, but I'm going to hit the Spire. Let's draw a land. Gives us a shuffle effect. There's a chance. There is a chance. It's extremely small. But you know what? On this channel, we play to our outs. Ghoul Caller's Bell. Huntmaster on top. We can shuffle Huntmaster back in. Do we do that? I don't think so. I'm going to just pray that we find a Lightning Bolt. God dang it, there's the Lightning Bolt. Okay. How many bolts are left in the deck? That's upside down. I believe this is a Vendilion Click. They left the Lightning Bolt for now. We have one in the graveyard. Check the sideboard. They are casting Lantern. Do we want a Rejection Lantern? 2 bolts are gone. This is our last Lightning Bolt. And both of our Huntmasters are gone. This is our out. They're going to cast Lantern, and I think we counter it. Just so that they have 1 fewer shuffle effect. With that on the stack, we're going to shuffle. Just in case we have 2 cards... 3 cards that they want to deal with in a row. Foothill's obviously not one of them. Delver, they're going to let us draw quite happily. I believe this is the end. Once that last Lightning Bolt is gone and we're out of outs, we are going to scoop. Delver's going to show off a Delver. Let's play it. Tarfire, I believe we have 1 in the deck. Both Tarfires are in the deck. Okay. They're not going to let us draw that, but, I mean, it's a thing. Oh, you know what? We can even target Lightning Bolt with Snapcaster Mage. We just can't cast it. So that's something. I think we may as well do that. Mishra's Bauble probably going to get milled by the opponent because that gives us an extra draw. Instant speed draw, very, very good against Lantern. Witchbane Orb, going to be lights out here. Whir of Invention, gonna go find it. And I think this is gonna be a 2-3, guys. Just as soon as this resolves. Welding Jar. That's an interesting choice. We're not out of it yet. We are not out of it. They Pixis. This is on their turn. Oh, they're just gonna let us have Deprive. Alright. We haven't found the potential out yet. It's still possible. I might just not reveal this, because this time it actually transforms the Delver, and maybe they end up with 2 lands in their hand at some point, via something like a Mishra's Bauble. We only have 17 cards left in our deck. We're gonna die soon. Is there an orb out now? Sorry, that's their Lantern window covering it. What they got was a Welding Jar. Not that it really matters, because we're basically dead to everything. Yeah, Grafdigger's Cage is the reason we haven't Snap Bolted for the win. That would have been very good. That Grafdigger's Cage... Well, I mean, Grafdigger's Cage won them the game, but the other thing that won them the game was having the Grafdigger's Cage in conjunction with 2 discard spells, Welding Jar, and the ensnaring bridge exactly when they needed it. So I'm not going to give the win to the Grafdigger's Cage specifically. We've got that wooded foothills. That's something. We're going to let them know that it's there, because I think our Lantern opponent really needs to know. This is important information. They might want to mill this otherwise. They're not going to let us have that Thought Scour. Do we shuffle to save the Thought Scour? I don't think so. We only have 13 cards left in the deck too, so they can pretty well just mill very conservatively. If I'm the opponent, I'm probably milling 1 or 2 cards at a time at most. Okay, they just want to kill us. That's fair. Oh, soon enough we can shuffle our deck and maybe have Lightning Bolt as the only card in the deck, such that we shuffle it and Lightning Bolt's there anyways. That would be neat. That would be very neat. They're going to get rid of Visions. No, they're not. I thought this was a trigger. We're going to draw Visions. Apparently they're okay with that. I guess they still have Shuffle, Pixis, and 2 of these, so they have 4 ways of keeping us off of Bolt. We're not going to reveal this, even though it really doesn't matter at this point. We're just dead. Stubborn denial, not what we want. We're going to let them do a little more. Could you imagine if we win this? We have to keep playing just in case. It would be so amazing if we took this. They're going to get rid of the bauble. I mean, there's like a 0% chance that we win. But how cool would it be if we bested Lantern in this spot? It would basically be the greatest thing anyone ever did. We have 4 cards left in our deck. They can mill all of them. They can mill all of them. Oh, we can't even kill ourselves off of Serum Visions because it's not an instant? That sucks. That sucks a lot. We might be able to shuffle the deck with Bolt as the only card. 1 off. We were 1 off. I'm shuffling anyways. I'm gonna do it. I don't care. We have a Goyf and a Bolt. What's on top? It's Bolt. Why did that get so big? Why did that get so big? Alright, we've got Goyf. Now, the opponent doesn't necessarily know that we have a Snapcaster Mage in hand, and we have quite a few cards in that graveyard that we can target. And we happen to have this stop on our upkeep. What happens when you reveal nothing? Oh, you just can't. That's lame. Yeah, we can. Reveal nothing. How cool. Does it show up? Does it show up under revealed cards? It doesn't look like it. That would be neat. Snapcaster Mage. What are we targeting, chat? What is our favorite spell? Is it Bolt? Is it Traverse? We can't cast any of them. I think it's going to be Lightning Bolt. This. Target that. Trigger resolves. I wonder what it prompts you with when you click it. No! And we're dead. I was hoping we could scour ourselves there to just, you know, draw ourselves, but we couldn't cast anything in the graveyard anyways. So this, plus this eventually, this which we denialed, and this kept us from being able to win. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this was definitely not your typical Lantern control matchup. Here's to a good Game 5. Oh. Too bad we don't go to Game 5 here. That would be nice. Anyways, that was kind of disgusting, but what are you going to do? Here's the deck in case anybody wants to see it. We 2-3'd. 2-3 is better than 1-4. So we did better than last week. There's that. I'm already in a friendly league, so hopefully I can recoup some of the lost ticks. That'd be nice. To be fair, I used play points, but the play points technically cost me ticks because I got those play points from using ticks in a friendly league. So, you know, still not the best. That was something. We went up against Traverse Shadow, Blue-White Control, What was the third deck? Was the third deck Zoo? I think the third deck was Zoo. And then the fourth deck was... My memory's not so good after a league. What was deck 4? No, the fourth deck was Shadow Zoo. Or was it? No, we just lost to the fourth deck. And we beat Shadow Zoo. Which means the fourth deck was not blue-white. It wasn't a Jund deck. I'm blanking. I don't remember. Doesn't really matter right now. I'll check before I post this so I can name it appropriately. And unfortunately, we lost to Lantern. Game 1, I think, is probably favored for Lantern. Game 2, I'm going to say that we're favored because we have a lot of good stuff. I'm not going to... You know what? MTGO is not even going to save however we sort this, so I don't care. I'll muck it up. All of these. Blood Moon's good. I believe I went with 2 because it's not always great. We've got that. We've got these Hunt Masters. We have tons of stuff that's good against Lantern. And a bunch of counters in the main deck. It just so happens that it didn't go our way. I'm going to maintain that Lantern is probably a 60-40 matchup for us. Because post-board it gets way better. I have a friend who proxied and played Lantern for the longest time. And it was a terrible matchup for Blue-Red Delver. The first game we played, I crushed him because he had no idea how to play it. And then he looked up a primer and he just smashed me every other game we played afterwards, which was probably like the next 50 before I decided I wanted to splash green because Temur's great. And then the matchup just totally flipped. Artifact Destruction, Huntmaster, very good against Lantern. I'm going to stick with saying this is a good matchup. Thank you all for dropping by, and thank you to anyone who came by to watch the recording on YouTube. I hope you all enjoyed this video, or stream, however you watched it. I guess it's a stream regardlessly, and it is video content, so it's both in either case. Look at that. I will see you guys next week on Twitch, and definitely before that when I post the friendly league I played with Domain Bloodbraid Elf Zoo. That was a pretty fun deck to run. Don't know how often I'm going to do it, because I do like playing friendly leagues with Delver. We get to learn stuff and win more, which is nice. See you next time, Baggy Trousers. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, or have a good morning or afternoon if you're in some other time zone.